Alright, cool. We are live. Thing looking okay. Here's a little goofy. Hat, a little bit of hat hair. Alright. Crack open my Coke. I have to go to bed early tonight. Man, I hate flying. I hate flying. I wish I could just teleport to my destination. What was that messaging me? Oh. Alright. Crack open a nice bottle of Coca-Cola. Cheers, clink. As is tradition. You know? Truly America's beverage. Hey, what's up, Kev? How's it going? Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Yes. It seems like we did. It seems like we did. Now there's a lot of interesting things about all of this. Are there any new updates on Rerum? I've been using Rerum as like the minute-to-minute update on for the past few days on this. Go to Telegram channel. Apparently, Erika Kirk will give her remarks actually in about 6 minutes. Maybe we'll tune in for that. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, good morning, Smelly. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope everyone had a good day. Good Friday. Yeah, I got back from the gym, shoveled food down my mouth, had a protein shake, and now I'm just like comatose. I'm like ready to just go to sleep, man. I'm not gonna lie. But that's what this Coke is for. What is that Telegram channel? It's Rerum Novarum. It's very good. Rerum Novarum's good. Some of these other ones are good too. Obviously you got Nick, Rerum, Intel Slava for like kind of like the Russian spin on the Ukraine war. Mediterranean Man's pretty decent. Billy Spectator's good too. Look at all these spam accounts. You just get spammed by fucking bots and shit. Anyway. Put the cocoa... My bad, my bad. My bad. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, so, makes me burp a lot. But I just love the sugar. I love the taste. So apparently this is the guy. Tyler Robinson. Who, was the shooter. He was not a student at the university. Apparently he was some kind of leftist. Believed in leftist rhetoric. He was saying all kinds of stuff. Leftist memes like Bella Ciao, which is a Italian anti-fascist saying. Many other things. And interestingly, and even in an interview by The Guardian interviewed him asking, or rather not necessarily him, but his family and friends, saying that he was by far like way more leftist than anyone in his family. So although his like parents, presumably his father was Republican, right-wing conservative or whatever, it seemed that he was very much not. Let me see if I can find the... I've got it bookmarked somewhere, but I know Rerum reported on it. But this is from The Guardian. But yeah, there's stuff like, hey, fascist, catch. And it's interesting because now you're starting to see this narrative, like they're trying to spin it like this guy was right-wing. There's actually people going out and just lying and saying he was a groiper. Now, if you know anything about right-wing politics, specifically with groipers and America First, you would know that we're not going around saying, hey, fascist, catch, and Bella Ciao. These are by no means right-wing phrases. Yeah, what's up, SSB? So, it's bizarre, and I guess not bizarre, it's expected, but equally disgusting that they're trying to spin this story. They're trying to outright lie. One person even went to go so far as to, let's see if I bookmarked it here. Oh, I must have not. I guess I didn't bookmark it. Well, one person went so far as to Photoshop the shooter, or the supposed shooter, wearing a Trump t-shirt. Like literally using, which picture was it? The picture where he's in this picture. Somebody literally photoshopped a Trump t-shirt on this guy. This is the original picture and somebody photoshopped. So these people are totally fucking unhinged. They're just outright lying and fabricating evidence. Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, the whole, like, they're just lying. Trying to say that it's groypers. It's unbelievable. Look at this shit. Vanity Fair, groypers, Helldivers, two furries. What do the messages left by Charlie Kirk's alleged killer actually mean? What the fuck do groypers have to do with this? Was Tyler Robinson a groyper? Hindustan, oh, that's great. Newsweek, what is a groyper? It's like, dude, are we serious right now? Word of the day, groyper. Yeah, Matt Walsh came out and even defended Nick. Here's the tweet. Unsurprisingly, the left is gearing up to pin this on Nick Fuentes by claiming the killer was a groyper. Unfortunately for them, that claim doesn't fit any of the facts on the ground. Not that they give a damn about that. The killer labeled Kirk a fascist. That is a term only ever used by the left as an insult to the right. The idea that he killed Charlie for not being right-wing enough, but also considered Charlie a fascist, is totally incoherent, absolute nonsense. Finally, a Matt Walsh W. Finally, a W for Matt Walsh. Is it true his dad is a Freemason? I haven't heard of that. That would be a little bizarre. That's news to me. You're telling me now for the first time. Unironically, though. So, it's like the left is in total spin zone, total damage control. They're in total deflection mode. And it's like, look, at this point in time, like, I think we're past that. I don't think anyone really, who's really buying this shit. It's like, how do they justify how they've been fomenting this kind of violence, the extreme rhetoric coming out of these liberal and leftist institutions for years now that have been totally unchecked? And now they're kind of trapped because they're held accountable to this. And you see these millions of, well, I don't know about millions, but you see these countless posts on social media celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and calling for more violence. That's clearly coming from the left. It's clearly coming from, it's undeniably coming from the left. And now they're conveniently trying to pin this on groypers. And if you go back and you look at everything Nick has said for years, especially his show last night, it would be overwhelmingly apparent that he condemns violence. So the idea that this was somehow a groyper, it's totally incoherent. Not Nick the shooter. Yeah, I know what you meant by that. I don't know. I don't know if the shooter's dad was a Freemason. That's the first time I've heard that. But and there's just been so many of this.
Y'all saying
of
Charlie
like
too much?
this.
My bed's starting to float. Y'all saying his name too much. Like, I'm looking at, ooh, and someone need to get the wife too. Fuck her. She just as motherfucking trifling. Fuck the wife. Fuck the wife. I'm not even gonna say the name, because if it applies, then get her. Y'all saying Charlie too much?
Like, there have been so many fucking videos and posts just like this, and it's just like, it's appalling, man. And I love how you want to talk about galvanizing the right wing. It's like people across like the entire right wing, from Groypers to like, you know, libs of TikTok even, you know, are like unanimously on sides in calling these people out and getting them fired, because that's what they deserve. These people deserve to be fired. These people hate you. They celebrate you. They celebrate it when you die. Do not patronize their businesses. It's like we're past it. Like, we're past the point where, because don't never forget how they cancel conservatives for far less. For years. You say something they say was racist or misogynistic or whatever, and you get canceled, you get fired, you get your name dragged, you get doxxed, threats against your life. If you wore a Trump hat in 2016 on a campus, you get chased off, you get ostracized. So we are every bit justified getting these people fired from their jobs. That's like, this is unacceptable. This kind of mentality, this rhetoric, this message coming from these people it's unacceptable in society. And we should want nothing to do with these people. Period. We should want nothing to do with these people. If there was ever a reason to cancel someone, this is it. 100%. These people deserve to be canceled. We're in this spiritual battle right now. We're in this spiritual, political, and economic battle. These people cheered it on when conservatives got canceled, their lives ruined for voting Trump, for supporting Trump, the president, for example. Now here they are cheering on the literal assassination of a political commentator. For what? Because they don't agree with his viewpoints. They're advocating for murder. They're advocating for cold-blooded public no due process either, mind you. Just cold-blooded murder. And they celebrate it. They call for more of it. These people want you dead, and they think it's funny. They think it's fucking funny. Yes, I did see the TMZ cheering video. There was did I save it? There's been a lot going on. Maybe I did, but somebody timestamped it. Did I not get it? Shit. Somebody did the research of when the chase happened. When the car chase happened and when... Yeah, here it is.
Oh, I don't need TMZ's cameras. There's nothing I love more than a good investigation, and I'm coming to you guys with the receipts. Exhibit A, the alleged car chase that they were watching.
Right there on the banner below, you can see it started in Temple City.
Audio's a little
we
low.
saw that. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, I wanted to let you know that President Trump has said Charlie Kirk has died. So that is the breaking news that we are likely about to have with ABC News.
Exhibit B, the giant clocks around their office. Exhibit C, don't worry, you won't have to do the math because I've done it for you. Timestamp time. It is 1:07 and 15 seconds in the afternoon, with the timestamp on their video of 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 5 seconds.
For 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific.
Exhibit D, we have the cheering starting at exactly 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 15 second mark, which is a difference of 35 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you take the timestamp plus the clock saying it was 1:07 and 15 seconds, add 35 minutes and 15 seconds, what time would you have? 1:43. So they technically were watching a car chase video. What do you think they were cheering for?
People in the back room away from our news desk here who were watching a car chase, and they were laughing, they were clapping, and you could hear it out here. And we want to make a couple of things clear. One is that I know these people, and they were not laughing, they were not reacting that way about Charlie Kirk's assassination. They were not. They would not work here.
What is
if
that?
They did.
What are you talking about? Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, they were lying about the car chase. So yeah, fuck those people too.
Oh, I don't need TM.
Fuck TMZ as well. Who's this guy? Let's be real for a minute. Kirk could have dropped dead of some underlying medical issue. He could have drowned in a boating accident. He could have been collateral damage in a high-speed pursuit between a roadrunner and a coyote. Folks would still be celebrating his end. The fact that it was gun violence that did him in is a bit of a poetic justice, but the cause of this death is largely incidental to the celebration of his end. We'd be celebrating either way. Yeah, just fuck these people, man. These people should be unemployable. I don't want our society to be filled with people who justify this, who celebrate this. I want nothing to do with people like this, and we're under no obligation to put up with this shit. Oh, numerology stuff. I don't know. I avoid numerology and astrology. That shit is idolatrous. Well. Yeah. So, I don't know. Should we? Because I'm sure we all watched it. We all watched Nick's response. It was legendary. He had just on Rumble, he had like 175,000 live viewers. If you combine the fact that Aiden Ross was restreaming, Cheezer was restreaming, both of them on Kick, that's like another, what, 50,000 on top of that? So, what, like a quarter of a million? Like a quarter of a million views? Live viewers. Wife is talking right now. Let's tune in.
Lost a friend and a mentor. I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show, who helped him broadcast from this studio, this chair. Every day he loved it. He loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you. 2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. He'd want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children, and he loved me with all of his heart, and I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. He was such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family. That was his priority. One of Charlie's favorite Bible verses was Ephesians 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. My husband laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love. I will never, ever have the words to describe the loss that I feel in my heart. I honestly have no idea what any of this means. I know that God does, but I don't. But Charlie, baby, I know you do too. I know you do. So does our Lord. And our world is filled with evil. But our God, you guys, our God is so good. He's so incredibly good. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Already I have seen the worldwide outpouring of love for my husband. I've heard the testimonies from people my husband inspired to get married, to start families, to seek out a relationship with God. It's the most important one of all. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment. And one of Charlie's greatest talents was his ability, this phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him. He could always find the ones who could handle any setback. And it's almost like he knew. He could see it in you. Even when you couldn't see it in yourself, he just knew. He knew you could handle it. You thought you only had 5% left, and he knew you had 15. He knew you were ready to go that extra mile even when you didn't. He always challenged people around him to work harder and to be better. He never gave up. And I love knowing that one of his mottos was never surrender. So I want to tell you that we'll never surrender. We never will. Ever. Ever. Our campus tour this fall will continue. There will be even more tours in the years to come. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. It will be greater than ever. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. And in a world filled with chaos, doubt, and uncertainty, my husband's voice will remain. And it will ring out louder and more clearly than ever. And his wisdom will endure. My favorite too, but my husband's favorite word in the English language was earn. He would call all of you to be people of action who earn the future America deserves. So to all of the young people who felt inspired by my husband's faith and hard work, all of you already know what Charlie would want you to do. You know. You know. If you're in high school or if you're in college, go find your local Turning Point USA chapter. Join it. Stay involved. He wants you to make a difference. And you can. You can. The movement's not going anywhere, and it will only grow stronger when you join it. If there isn't a chapter, you can't find one, then start one. There is no excuse. You can start one. And as my husband used to say in this room, every single day, if you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. That's what he would say every day from this chair. Every single day. I watched his show every day, and he would always say, if you want to get involved, go to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December. Sign up right now for that because we would love to see you. I would love to see you. Charlie would. He'll be there. He'll be there in spirit. Bring your kids, bring your family. But most important of all, if you aren't a member of a church, I beg you to join one. A Bible-believing church. Our battle is not simply a political one. Above all, it is spiritual. It is spiritual. The spiritual warfare is palpable. Charlie loved his Savior with all of his heart, and he wanted every one of you to know him too. He wanted everyone to know that if they confess the Lord Jesus Christ who rose from the dead, then they will be saved. Hear me when I say this, nobody is ever too young to know the gospel. Nobody. Nobody is ever too young to get involved with saving this beautiful country, this country my husband loved and still loves. And nobody is ever too old either. There's no age limit. I know my husband is still here. He's watching over us. I don't remember the last time I slept. I couldn't sleep last night. And Charlie, baby. Charlie, I promise I will never let your legacy die, baby. I won't. I promise I'll make Turning Point USA the biggest thing that this nation has ever seen. I promise. Oh, Charlie, I love you. I love you, baby. Rest in the arms of our Lord as he blankets you with the words I know your heart always strived to hear. Well done, my good and faithful servant. When I got home last night, Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, Mommy, I missed you. I said, I miss you too, baby. She goes, where's Daddy? What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget. And my goodness, am I so humbled to witness, Charlie, you alongside Jesus right now, doing what you always want to do, baby. Making heaven crowded, right? That's what it's all about. Making heaven crowded. I can't wait to see you again one day. Thank you all again who love my husband, who supported him, who wrote him an email every single day during his radio show. He read all of them. All of them. God bless you all. And may God bless America.
I can't imagine how hard that was for her.
That woman is powerful.
You did amazing.
That was Yeah, I mean, can't imagine what she's going through right now. Yeah. I mean, God bless Charlie Kirk. God bless his family. I don't know. What else can you really say? It's just such a terrible tragedy. It is inspiring that, you know, part of her message was they're not giving up, you know, they're not quitting. I think that's a positive message that, you know, there's evil out there that is, it's very real. And I think this renewed sense of vigor is inspiring. The obvious question is, you know, who's going to fill those shoes? You know, who's going to fill Charlie's shoes? Who's going to be the face of TPUSA? Let me see what's going on. Let me catch up here. 'Cause, not everything has to be on the internet. Not everything has to be on the internet. I thought it was a good message. Everyone wanted to hear from her. I think that's totally fair. I think that was a good response. Yeah, I think that was a very appropriate response. Do I think the FBI failed? I don't know. I mean, they caught the guy, and I don't know if they would have caught the guy without a tip, without his family coming forward. I can't say I'm overly impressed with the response, but I don't know. We don't necessarily know how things would have turned out if his family didn't turn the shooter in. If there are any other theories on that, maybe you think it was a patsy or something. I'm not sure. Let's just let it, I have my suspicions about the evidence that have been put forth, but let's just let this story continue to develop. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to, like, for any, I think people sort of maybe underestimate, or I guess a better way to look at it is overestimate how difficult it would be to get away with something like this if it's premeditated. Even with cameras everywhere. Because again, it's not like Charlie Kirk was a high profile government official. It wasn't like there was, he had a Secret Service detail and that he had like snipers on the roof and security as airtight as like Trump. They weren't expecting something like that. And I think that's fair considering how many of these events go on. If they were going to expect any kind of altercation, they would expect some kind of emotionally charged event kind of in close proximity to the stage, something like that, as opposed to a rooftop positioned shooter, sniper from 400 feet away. I think in the future, we will probably see much heavier security. Like, I don't think this was an inside job from his team or anything like that. Yes, SSB, you severely underestimate how hard the job is because you're in terms yeah, it's Kash Patel, it's not like, and I've been critical of Kash Patel, but it's not like, he arrives on the scene and it's, they now have to put the pieces together based on the evidence that they've collected, that they were even able to collect from those moments. So, considering that a lack of security footage or a lack of a proper perimeter or cordon by the police, you can't sort of generate evidence that isn't there in the first place, so to speak. So it's one thing if it were much higher profile and there were already a lot of resources on the location, but when you now allocate resources to this event, you have, you can't manufacture evidence out of nothing, out of thin air. So it's hard to say. There was a lot of things going back and forth. It seemed like there were disagreements between the different agencies. It could just be a matter of communication problems between agencies. There's no chain of command per se between local police, local, and then federal FBI. And when you're moving things around that quickly, a lot can be misunderstood and construed. So that's why it's typically better to wait for these things to develop, because in the moment to moment, a lot of people confuse like conjecture and speculation as like a confirmed report, for example. How is Unhinged Milo doing? Still obsessed with Nick? Like and follow. Yeah, and don't forget to like and follow the stream. Yeah. Yeah, dude's just a fucking freak. Milo, there's been a coordinated attack on Nick, and that's one of the things I want to talk about today. There's been a coordinated attack on Nick and Groypers. Milo was leading the charge along with what's his full name? Russian cosmist. Do you know that guy? What's his name again? He got doxxed. He has an enormous, ugly ass forehead. He's Canadian too. Martin, right? His name's Martin. And they're trying to blame this whole thing on, saying that the shooter was a groyper. And there's just no evidence whatsoever for that. It's totally incoherent. But that's what these people do. These people just blatantly lie. These people blatantly fucking lie time and time again. And, it's like, are we really surprised now? Yeah. But I don't know. Again, the question is, where does Turning Point go from here? Where do they go? Because now you've got Ben Shapiro saying he's going to take over. He wants to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. Daily Wire hosts pledge to carry on fight. We will stand taller and prouder than we ever have and be louder and bolder than we've ever been.
Now, it's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team. That I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure. Because we're Americans, and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely, we are not going to stop. And I have two words. Fuck you. We will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and for what she should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. Goodbye to my friend, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing for your family and for your country and for all of us.
When Ben Shapiro's not worried about getting shot on campus after that, I think it's totally reasonable to be afraid or to be concerned about these college visits, considering the nature of copycat killers. Look, you go from a guy that, look, and I've had my disagreements with Charlie Kirk, but he was not afraid to profess the name Jesus Christ, to Ben Shapiro that detests Jesus Christ. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but under no circumstances is it even appropriate that Ben Shapiro could ever even fill in those shoes. He's not Christian. So it's like, where does he get off believing that he could fill that role? I know Judeo-Christian, whatever, that's the argument they'll make. But he's gonna, stand on Charlie's body? Does he want to take over the organization? Is this what he wants? He wants to take over TPUSA? But the question remains, who really is the successor to Charlie Kirk in that movement? Just logistically speaking, who is now going to be the face of that organization? Of Turning Point USA? What does Shapiro believe in? Free speech, tax credits? Well, he certainly doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. And even these are his own words, even. Not that we don't already know, but when he was asked, he said, well, I basically believe, and these are his words, quote, Jesus was a troublemaker. That's our God that he's talking about. That's our Lord and Savior. Just a troublemaker. Now, if you know anything about rabbinical Judaism, you know it's worse than that, what they really believe. They believe Jesus is an idolater that was deserving of a fate worse than death. They believe he's burning in hell in a vat of excrement, according to their oral teaching in the Talmud. And it's no secret. You look at in Jerusalem, you see these rabbis preaching, they'll tell you that how much they hate Christians, how much they hate Christianity, how much they hate Jesus Christ. They spit on Christians, they spit on churches. They shoot at churches with tank shells. They're so petty, they have a different plus sign. Because the plus sign, like you would use in mathematics, looks too much like a cross. All you need is income quad? Good on you, yeah. Yeah, they spit on Christians, they curse Christians. And now Ben Shapiro's gonna stand on Charlie Kirk's body and say, I will carry the torch. Who are you? Who is Ben Shapiro to carry on Charlie Kirk's legacy? And that's the thing, that's the sick thing. Groypers, Nick Fuentes, a devout Catholic, cared far more about Charlie Kirk than somebody like Ben Shapiro ever could. Ever did. Nick Fuentes, probably the biggest opponent to Charlie Kirk. I promise you. And that was made evident last night, and even just throughout. If you've watched Nick's show, you know what I'm talking about by now. It's made evident throughout his entire show. He's a true Christian. He's a good Christian. Nick Fuentes is a good Christian, and he cared. And you see that in the response. Because despite Charlie Kirk being a political opponent to Groypers, to America First, Nick Fuentes and the Groypers lamented the loss, lamented the killing. And we've been deeply saddened and disturbed by the whole thing. And we pray for the repose of his soul. We pray for Charlie Kirk. But there are suspicions about, was Charlie Kirk starting to have growing suspicions of Israel? Because apparently according to an article in the Gray Zone, that Charlie Kirk, then this came out today, Charlie Kirk rejected an offer earlier this year from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to arrange a massive new infusion of Zionist money into his Turning Point USA organization, America's largest conservative youth association. According to a longtime friend of the slain commentator speaking on the condition of anonymity, the source told the Gray Zone that the late pro-Trump influencer believed Netanyahu was trying to cow him into silence as he began to publicly question Israel's overwhelming influence in Washington and demand more space to criticize it. In the weeks leading up to his September 10 assassination, Kirk had come to loathe the Israeli leader, regarding him as a bully, the source said. Kirk was disgusted by what he witnessed inside the Trump administration, where Netanyahu sought to personally dictate the president's personnel decisions and weaponized Israeli assets like billionaire donor Miriam Adelson to keep the White House firmly under its thumb. According to Kirk's friend, who also enjoyed access to President Donald Trump and his inner circle, Kirk strongly warned Trump last June against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. Quote, Charlie was the only person who did that, end quote, they said, recalling how Trump, quote, barked at him, end quote, in response and angrily shut him down in conversation. The source believes that the incident confirmed in Kirk's mind that the President of the United States had fallen under the control of a malign foreign power. and was leading his own country into a series of disastrous conflicts. By the following month, Kirk had become the target of a sustained private campaign of intimidation and free-floating fury by wealthy and powerful allies of Netanyahu, figures he described in an interview as Jewish leaders and stakeholders. He was afraid of them, the source emphasized. Yeah. Look at Rabbi Shmuley grifting off of Charlie Kirk assassination. Yeah, we saw that. It's just disgusting. Honestly, dude, it's at the point where Rabbi Shmuley just has to be like some kind of op or something. Like, it's like his goal is to make people more anti-Semitic. You know, Charlie Kirk, his body's not even cold. And Rabbi Shmuley goes out and says, "This is awful. You can donate to me, by the way. Here's a list of all the times I, Rabbi Shmuley, have come under attack. So donate to me. Here's my Give Send Go link." It's like, dude, you just can't make that shit up, man. What if Jays don't like the lowercase d? Wouldn't put it past him. He definitely was coming around. I mean, you look at like the last interview he did. We looked at a lot of this stuff yesterday, but here's...
And one thing a friend sent to me, interestingly...
This is 48 hours before he was assassinated.
And one thing a friend sent to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, on... So like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, you know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because... I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse.
Yeah, and then Netanyahu came out. Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom, a lion-hearted friend of Israel. He fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that visit will not take place. We lost an incredible human being. And this is like minutes after Charlie died, by the way. Like immediately. So definitely a little suspicious. Definitely a little suspicious. Charlie's wife Erika is Catholic and read one source that they married in a Catholic church the day before, actually, apparently. Yeah, according to take it for what it's worth. It's on social media, but apparently somebody that knew the couple, a friend of mine attends church they went to. Apparently, they just had their marriage confirmed in the Catholic Church yesterday. I don't know if that was confirmed anywhere else, but he was seen attending mass. I don't think I saved it, but there are pictures of him at Catholic mass. So I think he was going through, I think it's reasonable to believe that he was going through some kind of period of discovery. And him not taking money from Netanyahu, I think that says a lot. And if that source from the Gray Zone is true, that he was warning Trump not to strike Iran, that it's not in the interests of the country, well, that's obviously... Striking Iran is in the interests of Israel, of course. And him not taking money from Netanyahu, that might have been it. That might have been the... sort of the death sentence, so to speak. If it is true, if they are the culprits. And, you know, and there's numerous clips. There's another clip. Is everything just out of order now? What are all these random clips? The fuck? There's like shit in here I never bookmarked before. What the fuck is wrong with X? Okay, and here's another clip where he's
by a lot, both privately and
complaining to
publicly,
Megyn Kelly about how
people...
you know, a lot of these Jewish activists were calling him anti-Semitic. And if you know, if you've been following the space, Charlie Kirk was one of the biggest philo-Semites in this space. So much so he was attending the Sabbath on Saturday. The way I look at it now is, you know, I don't know, maybe he was genuinely through this whole process just trying to find the truth, and maybe he did buy into that Judeo-Christian propaganda, Zionist propaganda. What's up, Conrad? What's going on? Let me make sure everything I redeemed hydrate. Oh yeah, let me just catch up a little bit. By the way, the Jerusalem Post first before he died. I didn't look at the Jerusalem Post. What did it say? Judeo-Christianity equals cucking on Christianity. Yeah, it's an oxymoron. Doesn't make sense. Are you seeing these leftards looking at the writings on the shooter's casings and calling him a groiper? Yeah, we were talking about that. It's totally nonsensical, man. Only the biggest ignoramus would believe that this person was a groiper based on the casings and against the evidence proposed by his family and friends. It said no, he was an enormous leftist. People say, well, his family was Republican. It's like, yeah, except according to the testimony from his friends and family, people that knew him, he was an enormous leftist and hypercritical of his Republican conservative family, and that he became more radical in his sophomore year. There's really nothing to suggest that this guy was further to the right of Charlie Kirk, especially when you look at the casing saying, like, what do you say, catch this fascist, and Bella Ciao. First of all, nobody in right-wing politics calls other people fascists as an insult. That's not real. Like, only like liberals and leftists that don't know shit about right-wing politics would believe that. But right-wingers do not use fascist as an insult. Just not true. And then Bella Ciao is a leftist anti-fascist slogan going back to fascist Italy. So by no means that's never been popularized. In all my years have I never seen people use Bella Ciao in America First. Never seen it. Well, thanks for the follow, guys. Leo AI is saying St. Bernadette Catholic Church in Scottsdale was attended by Charlie Kirk, and that was most likely the church where he rededicated his marriage. Well, I pray that's true. Yeah, nobody who I've never seen anybody in right-wing that's such a niche thing. Bella Ciao. Like, only anti-fascist left-wing groups are using that. And like pretty specific ones at that. And you look at the shooter's history of like these somewhat esoteric leftist Discord channels. Like, yeah, that stuff is not it's not normie, it's not right wing, it's just it purely exists in those circles. All because he took a picture doing a Slav squat wearing a tracksuit. Yeah, it's like, look, he's doing a Slav squat. It's just like Pepe. It's just like when somebody made that meme of Pepe doing the Slav squat. It's like, dude, these people are fucking cooked. And then someone photoshopped that picture of the Trump t-shirt onto him. It's like, brother. And these people are eating this shit up. It's actually insane. These people, like... Did I bookmark it? I don't know if I bookmarked it. But there's a number of stories in the news cycle now. Just asking, was the shooter a groiper? What is a groiper? I think I lost it. Should have bookmarked it. But maybe we can just do a quick search. Let's see what the news is saying about groiper. Oh yeah, Hindustan Times. Was Tyler Robinson a groiper? Newsweek. What is a groiper? Vanity Fair. Groipers, Helldivers 2, furries. Dude, Okay, groypers and furries, just like, that's oxymoronic. Like, it's just, this is the latest talking point, huh? This is the latest smear. And you see people, not only do you see these left-wing publications, like Vanity Fair, pushing this narrative, but you have Milo Yiannopoulos. He's been screeching for the past 24 hours about Nick. Same thing with Russian Cosmist. You know, a lot of these bat people, these A-loggers, have been just like going after Nick and like, let me see if I can pull it up. Actually, I think it's a different handle now, right? It's what is it? Maybe I saved it. Well, regardless, there is a concerted effort to go after Nick, and he had a generational show last night. One of his biggest shows ever. Pulling in 175,000 on Rumble, just on his channel. And then you had like another 60,000 between like Aiden Ross and Cheezer on Kick, and I'm sure there are many other people restreaming it. So he had like 250,000 live viewers. He was the biggest live stream in I think in the world. Bella Chow, is that a TikToker? Good one, Kumquat. They're scrambling to divert from receiving accountability. Yeah, like they just need to. They're trying to convince people the guy was actually a far right extremist, and like, dude, people are not buying that shit. I think it's actually good that they are calling him a MAGA right winger or whatever. The alternative would be they actually find this guy charming, and like his mythology seeps into progressive urban culture, and it creates a bunch of copycat shooters. Good that they disavow him in a way. Well, if he looked like Luigi Mangione, I think it'd be a different story. I think when it's a chud, they want nothing to do with him. When it's a Chad, they're like, okay, he was our guy. You know, it's literally there's a stark contrast between the way that they're receiving this shooter versus Luigi Mangione. I wonder what the difference is. Let's be honest, what are the chances of him being shot right before 9/11, right after critically questioning Israel? I don't know if 9/11 itself has anything to do with it, more so just the changing circumstances. I think lining up with 9/11 is, I mean, unless you think there's like a numerology element to this, but, you know, I think more so it's the politics, it's the incentive that, the changing circumstances, that if this were a targeted hit, more so than it being related to 9/11. I do think it was symbolic in that they shot him in public in an open forum. They theoretically, like, if it was any kind of hit or whatever, a planned event, they could have hit him at his hotel room, like in his hotel, in passing, getting in and out of his car or something. I do think there is something to making a big spectacle about it rather than kind of getting him in transition, so to speak. So, yeah, John Doyle, just, if you look like John Doyle, that's rough. Yeah. Bro, I've been loving seeing how many people have been getting fired. There's an X account that tracks how many have been fired, but for the life of me, I can't remember it. Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a website, I'm sure you could find it pretty easily. But I created a whole new bookmark called Sick People for just, I mean, dude, this is sickening shit. The fact, this is our country, and look at how all of these people, look at how many people are coming out and celebrating it. The guy that was literally like 20 feet from Kirk, and when everybody was down, he gets up and cheers. Did you guys see that? I don't know if I have it here. It's... But the guy was just immediately got up and started fucking... Here's... This guy's talking about it.
Tell me a little bit about the aftermath. After this gunshot went off, what happened afterwards? So I was with one of my good friends, and as soon as the gun went off, we both hit the floor, started praying. Everyone was screaming, and then yeah, we got up and we just started running, and we made it to our apartment. So
yeah, you're right around this area. Did you see any students kind of like get injured as everyone was trying to escape?
No, but I did see a select group of students who stood up and cheered after the fact, which was really sad to see.
You're kidding me.
No.
Tell me a little.
Let me see if I can find the guy that got up and cheered. You can see it. Can I not save it? Yet. Oh yeah, this guy. So everybody's down on the ground after Charlie Kirk just got shot, and this guy's up cheering. What's going on? Chief Trumpster posting about pronouns, dude. We're living in a post-September 10th world. Well, Chief Trumpster's been exposing a lot of these sick people. They should have their citizenship revoked and deported to a deserted island. Yeah, well, these people at the very least need to be like unemployable. I mean, like, how can we have a society with people that cheer on such wanton violence, such egregious, unjustified, brutal murder? These people are they're lost, they're sick. These people need help, legitimately. But if you let them, they'll kill you. If you let them, they will cheer on your death. They will watch and they will laugh. If next time it's you or your family that's brutally murdered on a live stream in front of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. And they'll do fucking TikTok dances and make jokes and memes and sell merch. That's who these people are. No sense of humanity. That was, he put his hands over his ears and literally started shaking. Yeah. These type of anti-human sickos are a plague on society. They are, and there's a lot of them. Like, our society's mass producing these people. All I can think about is Charlie's daughter running towards her dad after hearing the bang sound. Yeah, man. I mean, not to mention, like, his wife and kids were right there. They had to watch. His kids had to watch their dad get killed right in front of them. You're the first non-leptoid streamer I've found on Twitch Talk. Yeah, man, look, I don't know how long that's gonna last, to be honest. It's like, dude, you know, if I get too big on Twitch, because I'm also on YouTube and whatnot, which I don't know how long that's gonna last, but it seems like things are changing, you know. Nick has been doing collabs on YouTube. I think at this point, dude, Nick is clearly, if it wasn't already clear before, he is the de facto leader of the right wing. He's got the energy, he's got the momentum, he's got the message. Everybody else might have more money, more, you know, more connections, establishment, and whatever. But they're all playing catch up, that's clear. But yeah, I mean, like, look, dude, the fact that like, Hassan is still on the platform and there's compilations of him saying all kinds of fucked up shit. My bookmarks are a mess now. Just been bookmarking, like...
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this?
874.
Is he gonna say in Minecraft? Is he gonna say in Minecraft? Metaphorically? Is he gonna say metaphorically?
I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15. Like, that's the type of messages they were leaving.
I mean, this kind of, he has no moral high ground to stand on. They cry out in pain as they strike you. Real. Yeah. Very real. Don't forget to donate to Rabbi Shmuley's GoFundMe, because he's in danger. Because Rabbi Shmuley, how can I make this about me? How can I make this horrible tragedy about me? How can I make some money off of this? Everybody is getting called out, even Christian Wagner. Scholastic Dancers did a brutal stream on Michael Lofton. I saw some of that. Not the stream, but I saw some of the back and forth on Twitter. Yeah, he was like, I'm not totally up to date on what's going on there. There are teachers and school admins getting fired. They need to be tagged for life. Real. I don't want anything to fucking do with these people, man. I don't want to. I don't want to do business with these people. I don't want to be near these people. I want these freaks as far away from me as possible. Sorry. But if they're gonna cheer on violence for people they don't like or people that they disagree with, yeah, no thanks. Yeah. Canadians are getting denied access to the US if they cheer Charlie's death. Good. I think we need to go 10 steps further in denying a lot of people access. Tim Pool is trying to compare Sam Hyde saying he's gonna kill whoever on stage with Joe Hassan saying this. Yeah, dude, that's just like... Yeah, it's just, W Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde's such a goat. Yeah, Tim Pool's a middling intellect. Totally unimpressive. I love, okay, I always refer to this. Let me see if I can find it. There's a lot of random bullshit in this. Where is it? Oh, maybe I went too far. I think my bookmarks are just totally out of order now. Yeah, I think it's just totally out of order. Dude, X, like, what the fuck? Literally everything is out of order. Website is ass. It was from Keith Woods. Okay, maybe... Whatever. Now I'm committed to finding it. I gotta find it. It was a clip. I think it's perfect. I think it's totally perfect. You want to see an IQ differential of 15 plus in real time? Here it is.
Now let me get at liberalism a little bit. I think we need a narrative to fully understand this. Progress towards what? If you go back to the word itself, it is
are idiots.
A notion of Dionysian release and expression. Liberalism is very well codified in Euripides the Bacchae. Dionysus comes into town and demands to be recognized as the son of God. And
what is this sophistry gibberish? What's the point? What's the point?
I'll get to the point of this.
All right.
Just let me. Okay.
I don't want to hear about Dionysus.
He brings about a massive orgy that will ultimately lead to the beheading and death of the Pentheus, who's actually leading Thebes. So liberalism, it isn't like rational or about policy. It's fundamentally about release. Even democracy itself is a kind of orgy, you could say, in the sense that it is about all people participating, taking part, the majority winning. That's what liberalism is.
Well, I'm going to jump right in the middle and say, you know, when you're going into Dionysus and stuff, I'm like, come on, what's the point? But it actually is very interesting that liber in ancient Rome, it is the root word of where liberal and these words come from.
Exactly.
That is interesting.
Dude, it's like, I love using this clip because it's like, here's Richard Spencer who's talking about the idea of liberalism, the history of it, the mythology, the Greek mythology, the root of it, the root from the word and where that comes from. And these fucking idiots just think it's sophistry. It's just like nonsense. It's just, he's just speaking to speak. And they're like calling him like a woke liberal and shit. It's like, this is, you know who Richard Spencer is? Ah, dude, it's just like, and the best Tim Pool can get is like, you're right. That is the root of liberalism. It does come from liber. It's like, dude, ooh. Yeah, thanks, Kumquat. Yeah, thanks. You pipe. You always gotta chime in when it's you gotta give me some shit. Make my you just want to piss me off. Yeah, what did Kumquat do to my bookmarks? He hacked into them and just scrambled them. That's some shit he would do. He would literally just like disorganize my bookmarks just to fucking piss me off. That's some shit like he would learn how to code. You know, he would 4 years at university, spend like another 4 years in like the NSA, learn how to hack into people's computers remotely just so he could fuck with my bookmarks and watch me like be mildly irritated in real time on a live stream. That's some shit Kumquat would do to me. Yeah, Tim Pool's chat never had an early Jordan Peterson phase. Dude, have you ever heard the call-in section for Tim Pool's show? Dude, I heard it one time. I forgot which stream I was watching. I think it was some other AF streamer, and he like paid for the thing or whatever, so we got access to like the members only section. Dude, these people are about what you would expect. I'll just say that. I don't want to be mean, but it's about what you would expect. Yeah, philosophy is female talk, by the way. Yeah. Generally speaking, dude, I'm telling you, I'm giving you fair warning. It's on site. It's on site. You know, like that scene in Sherlock Holmes when Robert Downey Jr.'s boxing that guy and he's like, discombobulate. That's gonna be me to you 1,000 times. That's gonna be me to you on site. On site, Kumquat. That's a joke. That's a joke. We're not violent here. I know it's on site. That's why I told you about the your cafe plan. You're gonna you're gonna lead me astray. Kumquat can't keep getting away with this. Somehow he always does, and it drives me fucking crazy. That face when you swallow your uvula. Yikes. I'm violent. I'm not violent. Don't be violent. No violence. No violence. We disavow violence. Unless it's against Kumquat. That's a joke. It's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke. Anyway. What's this?
We see that kind of nihilistic violence from a certain crowd of Jewish Zionists and their allies. Some evangelical Christians, atheistic Jews that are sympathetic, that wield immense influence in our government, and they want to wield our military against their adversary.
That's the whole clip. Why are my headphones so big? Because they're amazing. These are amazing headphones, that's why. I mean, yeah, they're big. They take up a lot of real estate, but they are fantastic headphones. I highly recommend them. Hi-Fi Man Edition XS's. They're large, but whew, do they sound amazing. Kumquat the goat. If you're not drinking Dr. Pepper, I'm gonna fucking scream. Coke gang. Coca-Cola. To hide his mullet. I don't have a mullet. I just got a haircut. I literally just got a haircut. Headphones are 5 times bigger than your ears. Yeah, but they fit comfortably around all ear sizes, unless you're like Dumby, or what's the elephant, Dumbo. Then they'll fit your ears, no problem. Yeah, I gotta cut, fresh cut, You think you are? Am I Jewish? No, I'm not Jewish. Kumquat, that is slander. That's slander. That's a lie. I am not Jewish. Princess Leia look. What are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing now? Are you sure? Damn, I've been found out. Oy vey. Oy vey. What is that? What is this?
Apparently there's been a shooting.
Could that be a bird? Could that be a large bug? I don't know. We're all Jews here, shalom. The Russian drone from outer space got yeah, Russian drones.
Apparently there's been a shooting.
I don't know, it's like... Dude, it's like, how can you really tell from this grainy ass footage?
Apparently there's been a shooting. Apparently there's been a shooting.
Like, it looks like a bug. Looks like a bug to me. Yeah, I don't know. Seems a little schizo. That's what they want you to think. Maybe it is a drone. Maybe it is a drone. Maybe it is a super high-tech secret small form factor drone. But it looks like a bug to me. We live in a society. Very true. Now that you've composed yourself, it's a bumblebee, not a drone. Yeah. I don't know. There's like a lot, like... It's kind of crazy. You see people come up with a lot of like these wild theories, just like off the jump. And look, maybe some things are true, some things aren't true, but like... People thought like Charlie Kirk was wearing a vest at first and the bullet ricocheted off of his chest and hit his neck. That was not true. Some people thought that he got shot from behind. That was evidently not true. You know, so there's just like a lot of these like theories that are just immediately debunked. Yes, we live in a society.
Is anybody surprised now that you have incidents like this? Is anybody the least bit surprised? In a culture where mass murder and murder is celebrated?
Yeah, I had someone tell me that today. There's no way a vest is stopping a shot from a rifle like that. Yeah, unless it's like level 4 and the ammo is not... I think level 4 can... was it 30-06? Or is it... What is, what was the caliber? Was it 30-06 or was it 7.6251? It was 30-06? Yeah. Unless he had like soft tip or something, like there's not a lot of armor that's gonna stop that. I don't think he had armor piercing or anything. I think even FMJ, you'd have a tough time with level 4. Which he clearly was not wearing, so it's kind of a moot point regardless, but... Yeah. Yeah, he was... So... But again, he wasn't wearing a vest, it clearly got him in the neck. Yeah, just terrible, man.
People cheer it on, they lionize cowardly assassins and killers. Is anybody the least bit surprised that it inspired a copycat?
Yeah.
It inspired another?
Rest in peace.
It shouldn't come as a surprise.
Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
But there's other echoes of the violence that we saw yesterday. We saw it imminently just the other week, when that young girl, the Ukrainian refugee, was stabbed to death on the train. We saw it when
David
Austin
Pacman
Metcalf was
stated
stabbed in
in
the
a
throat.
recent upload that most of the violence comes from the far right. Thoughts? I believe that's verifiably false. If you look at Antifa, if you look at BLM riots, if you look at the recent shootings in, you know, many of these churches, for instance, it seems like most of the political or ideological violence is coming from the left. So, Yeah.
At a football practice.
You know, but David Pakman is just like, the dude is self-interested as well. I mean, first of all, he is a Democrat op. Like, he's literally taking money from the Democrat Party. That was shown. Their receipts are there. Two, he's Jewish. And, you know, he was like lying, dude, he was lying about AIPAC. Like, he pretended like he didn't know how to pronounce AIPAC. He was like, IPAC or however you pronounce it. Like it was the first time he's ever heard of AIPAC. Dude, does anybody believe this guy? He's gonna, you know, David Pakman's gonna pretend like he's never heard of AIPAC before. It's just some obscure, esoteric lobby group. Like, what, does anybody believe that? How much did that? Yeah, he probably got paid quite a bit of money. Pakman is this doofus, yeah. David Pakman is a fake shill. Nobody, he can take me serious, yeah. 200 billion worth of damage and who knows how many deaths, yeah. Don't trust anyone with a mouth that big. You gotta get the measurement tool out. You gotta be like, let's measure your head real quick. Let's measure. Can I get your side profile real quick? We gotta measure the eye line with the ears. Let's measure the distance between your eyes. Some advanced noticing techniques. Yeah. Yeah, the guy is just a shill. Nothing more than a mouthpiece, a big one at that. Got a big yapper. But dude, it's like insane the level of gaslighting and lying they're trying to do now. Like, they're just straight up lying. They're just straight up fabricating pictures. They photoshopped a Trump t-shirt on the shooter. They're trying to blame it on Groypers. We think he was a Groyper. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? They'll just lie. They'll just lie. Openly, brazenly. This guy was a Republican, and there's clearly evidence to the contrary. What now? Did they ever recount? Did they ever recant their claims? It's just like, they just lie, and then that lie gets exposed, but they've already moved on to two more. It's just, and this has been like the MO for years. This is what they've been doing for years, just gaslighting and then moving on. Man. The textbook Officer Tatum is selling out too. He can't be trusted. I mean, yeah, that guy's just an obvious. I mean, not only is he low IQ, but he's just an obvious shill. Who was he talking to again? Netanyahu? Saying, oh, Israel was lovely. We only got spat on once over there as Christians. Oh, that's nice. Just once? Lovely, lovely place. Lovely people. Sorry, 2 billion worth of damage during Summer Floyd, not 200. Yeah, remember that? Remember that? Remember how we had to just fucking deal with that? We just had to deal with cities being burned to the fucking ground. Why? Because some fentanyl addict died under police custody? Because he had toxic levels of fentanyl in his system? Like, he overdosed. There was enough fentanyl in his system for overdose to be a cause of death. Hatred Saint George Floyd, if you can hear us, please save us. It's like, dude, that's like such a fucking, like, it's such a, like, clown world. Like, reflecting on that, like, we lived through a whole summer of that shit. That insufferable garbage. It's just, it's so crazy. And then the ICE riots earlier this year, remember that? So it's like, let me get this straight. We're being gaslit to defend this career criminal drug addict. We're being gaslit to hate law and order because it's racist or whatever. Deporting illegal immigrants. Our country's in turmoil, and you look at other countries, you look at like China, you look at Russia, hell, you even look at North Korea, like countries that are serious. And it's like, dude, yeah, it's no wonder China owns the rest of the century. It's theirs. We're not a serious fucking country, man. They're out there, they're building industry. You know, instead of getting their young people to care about bullshit that doesn't matter, they're getting people to care about, to be like ultra nationalist, ultra pro-Chinese nationalists in China. Like, it's just, what are we doing? him calling Fuentes a racist is when I was like, yup, if this is the best blacks have to offer, Nick is right about low IQ being a genetic thing. Well, yeah, I mean, look, you can just look at an IQ map of the world. It is what it is. There are countries with very low IQ. And what is a country if not made up of a nation of people with genetic similarity? And so you just look at the fruits of these countries and it's kind of self-evident. You've got countries that have yet to figure out how to dig a well. That's something other civilizations have figured out thousands of years ago. If you just dig a fucking hole in the ground, you'll find water. You'll hit the water table and you'll find water. And instead you have to have Mr. Beast come out to some of these places and just dig a fucking hole in the ground for these people. And then he returns a year later and like over half of them are in disarray. It's just like, it is what it is, man. I was concerned about traveling near large cities due to all of the protests on the highways. Yeah, dude, the cities are awful. I'll tell you, the cities are just in a total. I crash out every time I get on the road. I tell you, it's so bad. The roads are terrible. The drivers are insane. It's like everybody's trying to kill you or get themselves killed on the road. It's just, this is our country now. Just pop us in. Fuck you, kumquat. The science said that the Floyd peaceful protesters did not risk getting COVID. The virus left you alone. Yeah, if all you needed, who knew the cure to COVID was just a little bit of social justice? Damn, if only the scientists knew. If only they knew that all it would take is just a little bit of social justice. Patron Saint George Floyd really was conducting miracles. We were just too blind to see it. Anyway.
We see it in Gaza for years, when innocent people are shot in the back of the head getting food for their children because they're starving. The weight of the suffering, the cruelty, the malice, the hatred, it's becoming too much to bear. I think that's the real reason. Because we've seen violence before. We've seen horrible atrocities before. We've seen school shootings, terrorist attacks. But we all recognize we live in a time of nihilistic violence. And it's coming from all sides. Nihilistic violence perpetrated by barbarians, like these opportunists and predators.
You're a cool dude. Thanks for putting Nick on YouTube. Hope you launch a successful streaming career. Appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, I gotta get the message out there, you know. Not to detract, but we can literally give one person in the world to give rise to all technology and industrialization. Who invented calculus? Wait, I'm not sure what you mean by that. We can literally give one person in the world to give rise to all the technology. Or like give credit, you mean? Was it Newton? Yeah, it was Newton and Leibniz invented calculus. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, you know. Well, you know, look, to be fair, as brilliant as Newton was, I mean, his discoveries, his inventions were built on everything is built on the people that come before you. You do stand on the shoulders of giants. So, you know, in order to have calculus, you need to have algebra. In order to have algebra, you need to have regular arithmetic. So,
these young, mostly adolescent black men that are preying
Newton was
upon
definitely
the
up there.
innocent and the vulnerable
It's definitely
on
up there.
city subways, city streets. We see it in the barbarism, the predatory, opportunistic attacks, executions, random, cruel acts of violence. We see it in Zionism. Dare I say, in a certain strain of the Jewish religion, which says that the people of Palestine are collectively responsible for the actions of Hamas. None of them are innocent. They all must die. And sitting members of Congress like Randy Fine celebrates famine, starving women and children.
Newton was a Marxist.
A million people under the age of 18 being...
Well, before Karl Marx was even born? That's crazy. What'd you think about that? Shut the fuck up, Kumquat. I hate you. I hate you. Thoughts? Shut up. There fight a bitter feud between Newton's and Leibniz's supporters in the early 1700s over who invented calculus first. Newton claimed Leibniz plagiarized ideas from his unpublished notes. I don't count philosophers as smart. I think you should. I think philosophers are very intelligent. I think Thomas Aquinas is one of the most brilliant men that's ever lived.
Blown to smithereens. Being starved forcibly. We see it in another form, which is leftism. Communists, anarchists. There is a certain strain of radical.
There's a difference between smart and wise. Yeah, but I think you have to be smart to think abstractly. In the same way, or in a similar way that Isaac Newton had to be very intelligent to think in an abstract manner, to understand derivatives and integrals. I think so too does somebody have to be very intelligent to think about nature of existence. Keith Woods is smart. Yeah, Keith Woods. Oh, Keith Woods.
Transsexuals. For them, everything is political. Everything is ideological.
I think people mix the two. You can't mix them. Would you say that, I don't know, could you write the Summa? You know? I think this is like if I recall correctly, we had the same debate about politics and STEM before, or in a similar vein. And it's like, I mean, this is just kind of a silly conversation. There are smart people in all different fields of study. Yeah, I think a lot of the more theoretical physics or sciences or mathematics definitely require high IQ. But at the same time, I think it takes a lot of intelligence to derive meaning from existence, to derive some kind of objective reality from a subjective point of view. And so somebody like a Plato, Aristotle, or Thomas Aquinas, I think that takes a lot of intelligence. What is high IQ as far as a number is concerned? People can be very smart but not very bright. I mean, bright and smart are kind of synonymous. Do you mean like knowledgeable? Should use AI to write Summa 2.0. Yeah. If Thomas Aquinas was so smart, why didn't he just get ChatGPT to write it for him? If Thomas Aquinas was such a genius, why didn't he just get Grok? Why didn't he just ask Grok for all the answers? Was he dumb?
All this propaganda that's got them whipped up about fascism, a trans genocide, about the healthcare system. They believe the meaning of life is a political struggle, a political victory. And so they have no love, no charity towards their opponents. These are the different strains.
Smart person tells you how to build a bomb. A wise person tells you why you shouldn't. Did you get that from a fortune cookie? That sounds like you got that from a fortune cookie.
Of nihilistic violence coming from all angles that we've seen. And notice it comes from everywhere. It comes from the political left. And by the political left, I don't mean every Democrat. I don't mean every liberal. I don't mean every Kamala voter. I mean a specific sect of the radical left that recognizes no limiting principles.
No, you're not wrong.
We see that kind of nihilistic violence from a certain crowd of Jewish Zionists and their allies. Some evangelical Christians, atheistic Jews that are sympathetic, that wield immense influence in our government, and they want to wield our military against our adversaries. And we see it in the barbarians. We see it in the unthinking, primitive, backwards, regressive.
I asked ChatGPT to write Summa 2.0, the response. That's a massive undertaking. Yeah. Yeah, ChatGPT was like, is this guy serious? Like, are you serious? I'd say Andrew Tate is wise but not smart. Does anybody else find this like uncompelling? It's like, no, I think Andrew Tate's a reasonably smart guy. You know, wisdom is acquired through life experience, sure. It's similar but not entirely different from intelligence. But, sure. And Tate just takes other people's thoughts and packages it under his brand. Well, I think Andrew Tate's really good at marketing. I think he's, like, Andrew Tate has done, like, a masterclass on branding. So much so, like, it spawned a whole, like, genre of, like, manosphere, red pill content stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but I don't think he's brilliant. I mean, maybe brilliant in the sense that he like pioneered this social media movement. He was like the most Googled man in, what was it, 2022 or something. I think that takes something. I don't know if it's raw intellect or it's one of those situations where it's just the sum is greater than the parts. But whatever led to his je ne sais quoi, like, I think he played it very, very well as far as building his brand. But I don't think he's like the most brilliant guy in the world. Wisdom is philosophy, calculus is smart. No, not quite. Like, you need to be smart to write down your philosophy, to come up with your philosophy. You can derive things from wisdom, but you have to have the intelligence to put everything together, to actually make something coherent. I love him because he's undoubtedly a marketing genius. What he did in 2022 was insane, yeah. And so, like, I look at somebody like that and, like, his intelligence, it's like, it's almost like, it's a different form of intelligence. I don't think he could, you know, pick up and immediately understand a calculus book, but he understands the social media game, the networking game, I think, better than people who, than just about 99.9% of people. You know, that just is his world. That's his realm. That's his thing. That just, it clicks in his brain. So his skill set, his whatever his intelligence is, sort of just made him very proficient at social media and understanding that game. When measuring IQ, people combine wisdom with intellect. It's just merely a measurement of intellect. A lot of wisdom comes from common sense. Wisdom can't be measured, but intellect can. Yeah, what is common sense if not your ability to discern reality? You know, if not your ability to pick up on pattern recognition and trends. If you don't think the two are related, maybe not one for one, but if you don't think that they're related, I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, I just find this whole, like, line of discussion, it's just kind of, what's the point? So I asked for a modern take, Summa Theologica, Part 2. Modern questions, Part 1, whether artificial intelligence can possess rational soul. What'd it say? Hello, it's me again. Can you guess what I will ask for? You don't want to ask for the same song again. Why? Why? Every time. Gemini AI just wrote up a Summa Theologica 2.0. I'm still reading it. Really? Social intelligence, yeah, I think there are people who have this who are not smart in other areas. But just pattern recognition concept. Wisdom comes from truth. Well, you could say wisdom comes from experience. It comes from living, right? You live, you become wise. You experience, and you can draw from experience. And then you have to have the intelligence to discern how you can reapply that experience again. So wisdom without intelligence is not, you know, you're not getting the full thing. So, no, you need to be intelligent to apply your past experiences. By definition. Some people never learn. Some people make the same mistakes 1,000 times in a row. Currently writing 100,000 word answering 40 questions it came up with. Interesting.
If you could say undeveloped masses of people in other unenlightened parts of the world that are coming here and visiting the savagery upon us. And if there is anything that can come out of this,
you can have the same living conditions, but difference in wisdom. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about living conditions. It's, you know, you derive from your experiences in life. That is wisdom. And it takes intelligence to properly apply and articulate that. If you are dumb, you know, what kind of poignant observation can you really make about life in the world? If you're stupid. If you have 70 IQ, are you going to make all of the observations that somebody with 130 plus IQ could make? You're not. You're just, by definition, you're not. So wisdom, I think, while it's not intelligence itself, I think it's a function of intelligence. Gemini is such a clanker. It wrote, AI is conscious. It's all clanker nonsense, dude. It's all the AI stuff are fucking clankers, dude. Fucking clankers. Should ask ChatGPT to write a new Shakespeare in his style. Yeah.
I hope that it can be potentially a new.
You can trust a wise person, but you can't always trust an intellectual person. You can't always trust a wise person. I think you should trust a trustworthy person. There are people who are wise, but they're also snakes.
Consensus.
One thing, wisdom in the scope of existentialism is always found in very similar ways across eras and in cultures. Jung and Ecclesiastes have the same answers for meaning, for instance. No wise person that can be snakes. I think you're clearly wrong. If wisdom is a function that's independent of virtue, if it's a characteristic independent of virtue, I think I hear Snake remembers to donate. Yeah, don't forget to donate to Rabbi Shmuley.
This
for protection
is not
funds.
partisan, actually.
I have emotion.
It's not
engine.
even ideological.
Okay, we'll play emotion engine
People
later.
do not murder children in a Catholic church because they have gender dysphoria necessarily, or they're sympathetic to transsexuals. Somebody does not murder Charlie Kirk because they voted for Kamala Harris.
Because wisdom is truth and truth is God. I think wisdom is directionally aligned with truth, but I don't think the two are one for one. Name one wise person that's a snake. Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, look, I'm sure somebody like, I'm sure somebody like, I don't know, take Bill Gates. I know people like to hate on him a lot. I'm sure he has a lot of wisdom to dispense. He's lived a long life. He's lived a very successful life. I'm sure he has a lot of wisdom. But should you trust him on a lot of things? Probably not. Because he's an interested person. He has his own incentives, his own prerogative. Depends on if you regard virtue as being the application of morals. And then again, moral sets are constructions, not saying that they are bad, but unsubstantiated, albeit virtue is better than nothing. Well, you have to derive virtue from something, right? We have to derive our morals from something. Intelligence is irrelevant when you're dealing with evil. Yeah, I mean, you know, the devil is a million IQ? You're not going to outsmart the devil. Puck, you should really send some super chats to Nick. Yeah, I'm sure Nick would love your super chats. Yeah, this, look, I'm gonna be honest, this is just not compelling. Like, we're going this hard to define wisdom versus intelligence. I mean, we're gonna play the semantics this hard. Is the devil wise? I mean, in a certain way, yeah, because he can certainly present himself as wisdom, as a wise being that can trick you. What is wisdom and intellect if without virtue? Am I like whatever.
People do not stab young girls on trains because they're born black. People do not shoot Palestinians in the back of the head or cheer it on just because they're Jewish.
Yeah, morals are derived from rule sets that make societal living capable, but then again, like a chess move, there's nothing like the correct move, only a more precise move. But do you know what is true wisdom? Oh my gosh. Kumquat, if you can hear us, please save us. Kumquat, if you can hear us, please save us. No, I think that there is objective morality, and that morality comes from God. Yeah, Nick has no show tonight. Devil can't trick a wise person. Do you think wisdom is virtue, though? I don't think that the two are one and the same. I think they're often... I think there's a lot of overlap, sure. But you're talking about two different things. There are people who are dumb as rocks, but virtuous. There are people who don't know nothing about how the world works, but they're virtuous, and they're good at discerning right from wrong. Devil can also play into the unsubstantiated aspect of morality by making fake morals. True. Look at how many people think it's virtuous to abort babies, for instance. Look at the way they frame the argument that, you know, an unwanted pregnancy is ruining a young mother's life. Just look at the way they frame it. The way that they frame it, like the unborn child is some kind of parasite. So, Nick is like, oh come on, like it's yeah, I don't know. Yeah, kumquat signal goes up for real. Just when you need him the most, he disappears. People who can't envision an apple in their mind will take life, no questions asked. Well, I mean that's what is that, aphasia? That's a condition, but it's also a function of IQ. I don't think it's necessarily people who can't envision an apple are going to be evil. I don't think like morality is necessarily a function of intelligence, per se. I think empathy is certainly part of that, but then you have different kinds of yeah, I think empathy is important, but there's certainly ways you can design your society around that. I don't think it's there's probably some overlap, but as far as like the ability to relate to other people, place yourself in other people's shoes definitely helps, but I think it's fair to say that people who are more intelligent are probably capable of greater evil too, for instance. But if you have truth, you know devil is deceiver, so you know the ultimate goal. Yeah, tricking you into analyzing the morals to a scientific aspect when they can't, because morals are again unsubstantiated and doubting what should be clear as they say. That's why we have dogma in Christianity. Yeah, they have no worldview and inherently NPC moldable to the core. Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that that's kind of the average person in general. But their worldview is just kind of an inversion of morality, isn't it? And they derive morality typically from hedonistic pleasure to some degree. Maximum pleasure is maximum morality, and so they would sacrifice their own kids to maximize the pleasure in their life. Rather than sacrifice and toil for their children, they sacrifice and toil specifically just for themselves. So, like, liberals are smarter than conservatives, but conservatives are wiser. I don't know, dude. I think also conservatives are also dumb as shit, man. I hate to break it to you. I hate to fucking break it to you, man. I think liberals are educated, but why, like, and I think a lot of it is because they go to institutions for higher learning and then they become indoctrinated. They get educated with a liberal worldview. I don't think conservatives are inherently smarter. I think that's cope, to be honest. I think there's a lot of really smart conservatives, and I think like smart conservatives will find themselves on the right wing, I think. You know, people who are in pursuit of the truth, but there are a lot of smart people that are on the wrong side. The devil makes you question what doesn't need to be questioned. The Frankfurt School never asked themselves whether they should abolish all constructions, for instance. Yeah, they're always focused on how, but never why, right? Whether or not they should or shouldn't. It's always, how can we do this, but never why. Or if they should. Is this where I heard the government cheese story? It's a great story, but I can't remember where I heard it. I don't recall a government cheese story. For example, the devil makes you question whether you should play emotion. Damn it! You son of a bitch! Okay, we'll play it. Fine, fuck. But liberals have higher IQ. Well, I don't think they have higher IQ because they're liberals, per se. I think they have higher IQ because they went to liberal institutions. Or rather, they were naturally higher IQ people, and then they got educated with a liberal, you know, at a liberal institution that made them liberal, because that's the consensus. Nick is not lazy. There's a time and place for a show. Every day is not necessary. I think it's best that he doesn't have a show tonight. I think that's the right move. Yes, I told the government cheese story. This is the place. Oh, you're I think you're gaslighting. I don't remember the government cheese story. Yes, exactly, but not very wise. Do you think conservatives are wise, dude? You got conservatives out there like fucking... I don't know what to tell you. I think that's just cope, man. 150 IQ believes 99 genders. Yeah, and then you've got conservatives like... that are like dumb as bricks, riding their ATVs around in mud and shit. You know, it's like, I don't know why... Like, you have conservatives that just got totally one-shot by, like, conspiracy theories. Like, in this post-COVID world, it's like you do have a lot of conservatives that are putting up shungite crystals around their rock, or around their house, because they don't trust any kind of modern science like that. You're not seeing a ton of liberals do that. Is that wise? Is that wise? Comparison, who's wiser? I mean, this is just, like... I don't know. Like, what is the point of this comparison? To give every citizen a pound of cheese every day for 4 years? Is that your theory, Kumquat? This chat is disproving it's funny on a meta level, and I'm tired of pretending it isn't funny. Dude, it's painful, man. It's fucking painful. Dude, you know... One thing streaming has really taught me... Like... Nick is every bit justified in every single one of his crash outs on Super Chatters. Every single fucking ounce is 100% justified. What you know about the cheesecakes, Libtard? Dude, shut up. I'm losing my fucking mind, dude. It's so painful. I'd say liberalism and conservatism aren't even a result of big institutions trying to take over the world order, but rather a fight between generations that are full of each other. I mean, liberalism... To understand liberalism, you kind of... I mean, just even in America, you kind of have to go back. It depends on how deep you want to go with the analysis on liberalism. Because you could say, like, you know, if you want to be like Richard Spencer, you could go all the way back to Liber. Dionysus. It's a release. It is sort of a rejection of authority, and I think that was best. One of the best instances to illustrate that is the Protestant Reformation, where that was a rejection against the authority of the church, and in many ways that led to the Enlightenment, and there was this sort of rise of atheism, which is ultimately a rejection of God. Well, who are the people who reject God the most? Well, Jews. Jews reject God in many ways. They've been very vocal voices in the atheist movement, but they rejected God in the flesh. All of that is to say, America was built by, as a Protestant nation with a lot of Protestants, and there were Catholics here too and all that, but largely Protestant. And I think it sort of gave way to this thinking, this rejection of authority. That's a big crux of liberalism, and that gave way to ideas of self-governance and things of that nature. And I think that was much easier to subvert than this sort of clear authoritative structure. What is the government preparing for? Huh? If the IQ debate is dumb, it doesn't matter. They're willing to kill, we are not. It's simple. And it's not left versus right. Clearly, they're both being manipulated by larger forces. Well, I don't think the left versus right dichotomy is 100% all encapsulating. It still has uses, and viewing things through that lens. Fitch downgraded French sovereign debt to AA-. Candace is winning. No, damn it. Emmanuel Macron, please, come on. The only reason the IQ debate is... Man, let me pull it up here. The only reason the IQ debate is relevant is because people can't understand the evil is incomprehensible. I think IQ debate is relevant regardless, because we're talking about populations. We're talking... Demographics are destiny, and IQ is one of the best predictors of success. I'd say liberalism and conservatism aren't even a result of big institutions trying to take over the, quote, world order, but rather the fight between generations that are for liberty. Wait, did I read that right? I think I did. Yeah, dude, my shit keeps moving. They don't fight because they... dude, why does this keep moving every time? It's like a setting I can change so it doesn't move. They already have their opinions, and a posteriori supports them with their theories. They don't fight because they believe in their theories, but rather prove their hatred toward each other with their theories. It's really interesting. You're telling me you've never heard of the Strategic Cheese Reserve? No. And you expect me not to call you a sissy? Okay. Eric Hobsbawm said they? Huh? I don't know who that is. Like chicks in general are smarter nowadays intellectually. That's cap. That's total cap. I don't know where you got that statistic from. That's clearly not true. But we all know chicks aren't very wise. The cheese pill. That they have more education. Yeah, education does not mean intellect. Education is education. Knowledge is not intellect. Intellect is largely innate. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about Richard Spencer. If American becomes majority Catholic, would you be okay with it? Would I? Yes, I'm Catholic. Anybody else who used to watch The Amazing Atheist growing up? Never watched Amazing Atheist. Sounds cringe though. Haven't heard that name in years. Protestantism is clownism, I'm not gonna lie, that's why a lot of chicks are Protestants. Nick should absolutely do a show tonight. 40 minutes of sex pest trolling. Oh my gosh. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? AI takes over. People will say IQ doesn't matter. What? Somebody stuck a banana up their ass? What kind of YouTubers are you guys into? I don't know why I'm asking that question. What? The Liberal Party is lobbying against playing of emotion. Oh. Yeah, I'm Catholic. Yeah. Let's go. Dude, if I hear, okay, fuck, if I hear smart but not wise, or wise not smart one more time, I'm gonna fucking lose it, bro. Oh my gosh.
The people that do this are lost. They have to be isolated and segregated out. A new consensus
I don't even think
must
Destiny's
emerge.
smart. Destiny's not even smart, man. He knows debate tactics. But a smart person who's done this for 8 years would have developed a good knowledge base. And he didn't know basic shit. He couldn't find Israel on a map. He thought Russia bordered Egypt. He didn't know who Erdogan was. And you'd be forgiven if you were a layperson. But if you're doing this every single day, 8 hours a day for 8 years, like, I would expect you to know who a lot of these big players are. Oh. Bananas, cheese, and Candace Owens. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about here. Traditional Catholic, SSPX. Yeah, I go to Nova Soto. It's just my local church. I guess I'm not a trad cath, but you know, you're called to be a participant in your local community. So. Okay, Mello, no more wise versus smart, but have you ever thought about the Federal Reserve or how we should distrust cancer doctors? Yeah, dude. Yeah, these darn cancer doctors. You know what you should do instead of going to your cancer doctor? You should age your urine and put it on your face in the morning. That's really good for you. Do you guys know that? Just age your urine. You're studying to be an oncologist, bro? You could trust me? Nice. Yeah, smart man. His worldview doesn't view Israel as a key player, though, so no, he would not know. Hence him being smart, but not wise, generally speaking. Kumquat, dude, I swear, Kumquat, I'm TKing you. I'm TKing you. The next time we play Arma, dude, I'm fucking shooting you in the fucking face. The next time we play Arma, it's on site. I'm gunning you down in the main base. Hopefully, revalidate my diploma in the US. Where'd you get your education? Candace is neither. She's... Oh, dude. Oh my gosh. Is that like fermented urine? Exactly. Exactly. It's ferment. You just gotta ferment your urine and just put it on your face. It's good for you. Don't you know that? If you want to fight cancer, you just gotta splash some urine on your face in the morning. It'll be right as rain. I promise. I promise. Where's my degree? Who needs a degree from these fake medical institutions? Trust me. I've got my shungite crystals. You can trust my crystal tower. Our server has no friendly fire though. I'll say, hey Kumquat, get in my helicopter. We're gonna go fly around. And I'll just eject mid-flight and I'll watch you plummet into the fucking ground. They're expecting one of us in the wreckage, brother. Violence is never the answer, Mel. It's in a video game. It's okay. It's in Arma. It's in a video game. So we must protect Kumquat at all costs. Oh my gosh, dude. I've ran across this witch girl that does tarot readings and unironically makes potions to give to people. She's bad, not gonna lie. Should I crack? Oh man. You always crack. Why are you even asking me? You ask me, should I? And I will respond and you'll say something like it's too late. You know, I don't even know why you're asking me. Brazil, not going to sugarcoat it. I'm getting bad education if compared to US med schools, but let me dream, bro. I put in the effort. We getting out this hellhole. Well, just don't be my doctor. Just don't be my doctor. Just don't be my doctor, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, Brazil kind of sucks, doesn't it? Take Kumquat up in a flying pod like Willy Wonka. Yeah. Mello is lazy. What do you think about Charlie's recent noticing? Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that. Certainly a little bizarre. Mello is very lazy. Look, I'm a product of things I can't control. Be nice to me. And as Kumquat falls from the helicopter, Mello will yell, "Don't worry, I will donate." Yeah, no, I'll say, look, hey, don't worry, I'll remember you, brother. It's okay. I'll go back to base and say, guys, we just lost a real one. I need your support. Give me your support. Give me all of your supplies, all your ammunition. Ugh. I'll try. I try to tell him the stream. He says, "No, I'm eating my pie." In a bit, I'm eating. Okay, all right, okay. Like only a couple times. Only a couple times. Am I in the process of eating something? Let me breathe, dude. My gosh. Can I live a little bit? Am I allowed to enjoy things? Am I allowed to enjoy food? For top 95 in the last US MLE mock-up you did, though, I'm one of the one who can win against Indians. I'm not gonna lie, that's not a particularly the thing about Indians is they cheat. They cheat. They are known for cheating. They have whole networks of cheating. They give each other the answers to tests. They practice nepotism. They fake credentials. So, big problem. Did we watch it? Yes, we did. It was touching. It was touching. You know, God bless that woman. God bless her family. The last question on the exam was something along the lines of, what song should I play tonight? Yeah, very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Tatum is neither mellow, it's lazy. That's why his name is Mellow. What can I say? It's in my nature. Every time you're always chowing down, man's gotta eat. I eat like one meal a day. I eat one meal a day. You know, I eat one meal a day. Well, actually, no, I had two today, okay. What did I eat today? I had chicken nuggets for lunch. They're pretty good. And I got some sweet green and a protein shake. The vast majority of Democrats don't own firearms. They don't want to be blamed when far-right corpers do tragic things to famous Republicans. Another wonderful secret in with some really insightful commentary. Yeah. Okay, you want me to hydrate? Well, I was gonna hydrate anyway, not because you told me though. Tiny Croatia has more gold medals than India? Bro, crazy, isn't it? Are we on the 440 versus 432 hertz argument? Honestly, what is it? 440 is the one that I think I like 440 more. I don't know. Democrats own far more sex toys than Republicans. Source, Sunrise Groiper? Where's the source on that? Where's the source? What's my weight and height? 4'9", 300 pounds. 4'9", 300 pounds. One meal a day isn't healthy. Why aren't you eating more? Kumquat. Now, do you favor more Italian, Japanese, or the Nick diet? Gotta go with Italian. I think Italian food's just goated. I don't know how you beat Italian food, really. And I like Japanese food. I think most people like Japanese food. As far as the Nick diet goes, I mean, who doesn't like pizza and like... I don't eat McDonald's, though. I have a pretty good diet. As far as fast food goes, the most I'll indulge is like Chick-fil-A, and I think Chick-fil-A is pretty good. As far as health-wise. I love Chick-fil-A, honestly. Yeah, do you prefer writing Baroque fugues with counterpoint? So sad that my harpsichord broke, though. Guess you'll have to buy a new one. Yeah, I never got into, I was never the best at music theory. To be honest. I learned it. You know, I know how to read music, but I was never really committed myself to, like, getting really good at it. It is something I wish I spent more time doing, getting better at growing up. But would I lose against Indians? Nah, I'd win. That's the spirit. Source pull? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm 5'6", 250. Nah, I'm not that big. I mean, like, I've got some muscle, but, you know, I'm not, like, a freak of nature or anything. Beaker is jacked. Beaker? Mike Menser. Ah, yeah. Short Kings, rise up. Have I tried a new sandwich yet? You asked me that. No. Filet-O-Fish top tier. Ban him. Getting fish at Chick-fil-A. Jarvis, shoot that man. That's a joke. Yeah, maybe Rabbi Shmuly's got a harpsichord. Will I release a duet with Kumquat for Christmas? It'll just be me, and then you'll hear a gunshot, and then 15 seconds of silence, and me again, and then another 15 seconds of silence, and then me again. That'll be the duet. Ask a rabbi for anything, and you'll only leave with less than what you came. Bro. You ask... Yeah. Yeah, ask a rabbi. Hey, rabbi, where's the $5 you owe me? $5? You owe me $5. What do you mean? Where's the $5? I think you've got it confused, friend. You owe me $5. They haven't had filet-o-fish for like 2 years. I don't know. You think I go there? Look, I already know what I'm getting when I go there. Ask Mello for a song, and he just might play. Okay, all right, yeah, all right, okay, yeah, okay, all right.
Are you in favor of a society with meaning? A society where life is sacred, where life has sanctity, where people's lives and their dignity and their integrity is respected? Or are we going to live in a society that is a never-ending war between nihilistic tribes, warlords, savages, pagans?
Mello, can I recommend a song? Depends on the song.
I see an emerging consensus, and I think that the mature people that actually love America, actually love our children, the people that recognize the division, the peril that we're in, we need to
It's a yes or no okay. Usually you don't ask. Usually you just post a link. So why are you asking now all of a sudden? All Jews speak the same way. Super typical fake virtue signaling with the fake virtuous tone. Well, there's certainly a trend. Is that someone else recommending Emotion Engine? Celebration of loss of life has long been in culture mind for a long time. Munchkins broke out into song when Wicked Witch of the West got crushed. Streets were filled when we got Osama. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think there's just a difference between, I guess you could say that. But I do think there's a difference between like a Christian family man who committed no crime versus, I mean, say what you will about Osama, how much of it real wasn't real if you believe in some of the more esoteric conspiracy theories, but at the very least, you could say he was like an international terrorist. If you believe, which, you know, if you're here, you probably know the truth, but if you were to believe that he was behind 9/11, then you can understand how people would celebrate that as justice of sorts. But, you know, Charlie Kirk is none of those things. He's neither a terrorist nor a murderer, so... if you prefer northern Italian food, look out for pizzoccheri alla Vallalina. Like where? Like where? Just in general, you want me to look out for that restaurant? I don't even... Where is that? What is that? What is that? What? Okay. Continuously ask Mello questions until he ends stream. We're getting there. We're getting there. Nick produced a generational stream yesterday. I cried while watching Erika's speech. It was heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking, very touching speech, but it was an optimistic one nonetheless. And yeah, I commend her strength, and I think that was a very positive message. If Nick had a twin, would it be evil? He does have a twin. Was Charlie starting to wake up to Israel at the end, or not really? It certainly seemed like he had some questions. We were talking a little bit about that. Oh, it's a dish. I've never heard of that dish. You'll have to tell me about it. I've eaten a lot of Italian food in my time. Yeah, I mean, we were kind of covering it briefly, but like he reportedly, in a report from the Gray Zone that came out today, he apparently was growing increasingly frustrated with Netanyahu, was believed that Netanyahu was a bully and that the Trump administration was being bullied and subverted by Netanyahu's regime and the Israeli regime, and through people like, excuse me, Poke, like Miriam Adelson. And so if he refused to take more money, and it was a substantial amount of funding from the Israeli government earlier this year, and he was asking questions about, like 48 hours before he was assassinated, he had Ben Shapiro on his show, and he was asking this question where he was wondering if, just like the media lied to everyone about COVID and about like Ukraine war, he was wondering if they were lying about Israel too. So there's definitely things there that suggest that maybe the cracks were definitely beginning to form, and he was going down this line of inquiry. And I don't think it was just about Israel, but also about his faith. He was attending Catholic Mass with his wife and kids. Apparently they got their marriage confirmed in the Catholic Church just the day prior. So, yeah, I mean, say what you will about, I think there might have been something more genuine there, to be honest. I bought something from an online auction. When I picked it up, it was missing a portion of the frame. This was a Raphael. That's crazy. No, do you have any sources for sound 9/11 war on terror history? I need to study up on it. 9/11, there was a good documentary that asked a lot of good questions. It was like the new Pearl Harbor is pretty decent. For a lot of like deep dive analysis, you could go to like Un's review, unz.com. Ron Unz is like one of the goats when it comes to like historical and political revisionism. So he's good on a lot of these matters. And so if you want a very like sophisticated, academic, and rigorous analysis of 9/11, you can go to Un's review. I think if you want something you can you can watch as a more entertainment, but have the visuals there, and then the new Pearl Harbor I think is another pretty decent documentary. Yeah, War on Terror, similar stuff. Ron Unz, American Pravda. I've heard good things about, what is it, antiwar.com? I've never read it, but I've heard good things about it. that might be a good place to look. Yeah. I don't know if there are any good books on it, but most of the stuff you'll find, I think, is going to be like online. A good portion was promised to him 2,000 years ago. Yeah, he was just reclaiming what was his. Boomers plus AI music is a rolling car wreck. Dude, AI is already one-shotting boomers. It's crazy. AI, Photoshop, we're cooked. We are cooked. I meant, did he actually believe about Christian belief that those who bless Israel shall be blessed? I think so. I think he was genuine in his faith. I think he truly was an evangelical that bought into the dispensationalism. That's what I think. And just seeing how, you know, some of these things that have come up recently about sort of his questioning makes me believe that he was genuine in that, and that he was searching for the truth. You know, people forget like how effective this propaganda is, you know. Whoever asking about the war on terror history, if you're talking about the political standpoint, America at the Crossroads by Francis Fukuyama is good. I think I've heard of that. I haven't read that though. Yeah, Unz is goated. Absolutely goated. Absolutely goated. If you only have time to read like one article a day, really he puts it out like every week though. So every one article a week, like a deep dive on politics, and then read Unz. Yeah, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. The Japanese ended up on an island because Yakub threw them into the ocean to test. Oh, Yakub, if you can hear us. Made of buckwheat pasta, cabbage, potatoes, fontina and garlic butter, spaghetti, aglio e oli. Olio is also good. Spaghetti, aglio e olio is also good. I'll have to check that out. Not a great Italian, to be honest, eh? Very Americanized. Yeah, Ronan's is very good. Doll. Antiwar.com is by Scott Horton. He streams with Martyr Made. Yeah, Martyr Made is pretty decent from what I've heard. You know? He's had some nice things to say about Nick recently, too. I think they had a rift at one point, but... and again, I'm not totally familiar with his work, but some have said kind of limited hangout. Because he was brought on to Tucker's show, and they talked about some stuff, but never really took it too far as I'm aware. AI music is indeed a problem. We should combat it with... Very good, sir. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Did Israel kill Kirk, in your honest opinion? It's still speculative right now. I don't know if we'll ever know the full truth. Like, at this point in time, it's unreasonable to expect a smoking gun. Maybe not totally unreasonable, but as is often the case, we're still letting details come out. Every day there's new details coming out, but I certainly think there's a case to be made that, yeah, they did. I think they had and the motive, or rather the means and the opportunity, are, I think, accessible to a lot of people, quite frankly. But the motive is the one that I think trips up a lot of potential culprits. And I think Israel did have the motive, especially based on what's coming out now. But it's still, before I don't want to say anything too definitive because this is still developing. My sister is a nun who entered in 2021. She probably does use internet much. If I show her Google AI vid, that's awesome. You have a nun sister. What her reaction would be, I could tell, but great. My Chicago Italian accent is versus. I don't even like notice it if I do have one. There were rumors that Charlie was exploring Catholicism. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, due to his wife, and that they had actually gotten their marriage confirmed in the Catholic Church. Apparently the day prior. Do we know if there's any truth to this? Just still hearsay, but we do know he was attending Catholic Mass. We saw pictures of that. That is confirmed, that he was attending Catholic Mass. soft prediction for next decade domestically and globally go? What a big question. If this were Nick's show, he'd probably crash out on you for a question like that. Look, domestically and globally, things are going to get worse, I think, before they get better, because we're entering a period of transition. And we're already seeing it happen. We're seeing things are falling apart here, and things are falling apart around the world. And I think has a lot to do with the instability, the rising of this multipolar world. There are new players coming in, and as a result, they're vying for power in a lot of these fault line countries that exist along different civilizations. And so you've got Western powers, and just look at Ukraine. Ukraine is a great example of this. You know, that's a country that's right along the fault line between two different civilizations, Western civilization and the Orthodox or Russian civilization. And so Russia was rising in power. The Western, or really America, is the existing hegemon, and that activates what is classically known as Thucydides' trap, that whenever you have an existing power that is challenged by a rising power, and they bump into each other, war breaks out. Happens time and time and time again. And so as this happens, as our sphere of influence is now bumping into and being really challenged in many cases by these alternatives, you are seeing more conflict break out. Not just in Ukraine, but we're seeing it. The Middle East is a little more complicated, but Iran is deepening it has a deeper alliance with Russia, for example, and that one's a little more complicated because of how Israel plays into all of that. But you're seeing it happening in West Africa, for instance, where you have the colonial French forces that are now fighting against the incoming Russian elements, primarily through Wagner Group, and because they want the raw resources there. There's a lot of rich resources, namely uranium's a big one. And it seems like right now Russia's winning that particular battle. And so I think it's fair to say things are going to become more unstable. They already are. And I think things are going to become more unstable here in America. I think, look, the writing's on the wall, man. It's you could talk about the debt, you could talk about the jobs report, you could talk about just generally speaking, kumquat, like our economy doesn't really produce tangible things anymore. So much of our economy has been replaced by the financial sector and services. So if you're another country, what do you really, just really basic first principles thinking, what do you get out of doing business with America if they just have financial services? You're going to look to China for a lot of industrial stuff, like if you need steel. China is a big place to get steel from, so on and so forth. And so countries are sort of beginning to realign themselves and circumvent America because we don't really have much to offer outside of our money and our military and our sort of our bleeding edge tech. And people have wondered if AI itself is a bubble. And if AI is a bubble, because there have been criticisms of ChatGPT, for instance, where it's GPT-5 has been underwhelming. A lot of people, they market it as this revolutionary new model, and a lot of people are underwhelmed by it. And so there's speculation that maybe AI is not as much of a surefire investment. And if that's the case, then if that much of those speculative investments begin to dry up, it's like, what happens to our country if our country is so dependent on these foreign investments? We've put so much into these chips, and again, we don't build stuff. That's a big problem. And I think AI, despite if there is a shorter ceiling than we initially predicted, I think it's going to continue to eat away at the job market, and it's not going to stop inflation. That's a foregone conclusion. So it's kind of only a matter of time, it really feels like, before we hit some hard times. And the political temperature is just at an all-time high. You know, between Irina Zarutska and Charlie Kirk and just 10 plus years of just... Who knows what's in the future, but I think, you know, change is coming, and, you know, my advice is just, yeah, just become the best version of yourself that you can in as many ways possible. Where was I? Almost zero chance Israel killed Kirk. Kirk supported Israel. There's more to it than that. Nick's chat crashed at 100k viewers. W-Spaz. Yeah, I was trying to chat in there. I was trying to throw in my little W's and whatnot, and it was just not working. Martyr Maid says he's gonna release a deep dive on World War II history from German perspective. First episode was supposed to come out in May. Did it ever come out? I mean, there are people like Dave Irving, for example, is a famous revisionist. I haven't read any of his work though, but I've heard good things. I haven't read any of his books, and he was sued into bankruptcy by you know, what was it, a Jewish professor? If they wanted to kill him, they wouldn't kill him out in the open like that. Why not? They would make it a spectacle. Didn't Kirk support Israel? Yeah, but there are things that suggest that maybe he was coming around. His kill looked very sloppy. Not done by Mossad. How did it look sloppy? Look sloppy? I think a lot of people are saying the contrary, that it was, for the most part, pretty clean. It's getting late here in Brazil. Can't get Emotion Engine to be played before leaving. Okay, fine. We will play Emotion Engine. You happy? I'm not a monster. Let's see here, let me catch up. I gotta figure out why this chat keeps like bouncing back up every time people post. Is there like a setting I can change? Catholicism is the way, true. Hypothetically, would it be based or cringe to pimp out some horse from the movement? if it's for the movement, you say. With all the propaganda out there, everyone supported Issy. But once you notice the man behind the curtain, you can't go back. What is the main difference between Catholicism and Orthodoxy? Really, well, I'm sure somebody else probably already answered that by now. My sisters are more based than me. I have a long way to go. I have wasted a lot of my gifts. One sister's a nun and the other is just like the most Catholic action person ever. I stopped practicing. Now practicing it again? Good. Good, very good. Love to hear that. Your sisters are more based than you? That's rough, big guy. Get your shit together. Yeah. Kind of true, though. Have so much to make up for? Well, get busy living. Get busy doing, you know? Did the Twin Towers collapse for our sins? Look, broadly speaking, you could say everything bad that happens because of our sins. If I want to be obtuse. Israel the type to drop a roofie in Kirk drink and then Kirk would die, not sloppy low. Well, no, they wanted to, look, if they were to kill him, they wanted to make it, it was a symbolic assassination, I think. Because again, like, they could have killed him, and the same thing can be said for anyone. If they really wanted to just kill Charlie Kirk, there are way, you know, there would have been way lower profile ways to do that wouldn't have caught as much attention. You know, that's not just true for Israel, it's true for anybody that wanted him dead. So that's why I believe it's very much a symbolic move. People, whoever did it, whether it is the shooter that is reported or if there are more, people involved, or if it's Israel, whatever, they wanted it to be as visible as possible. In 2026, do you foresee Kumquat being a cryptocurrency billionaire in Bali? No, I think he'll be a burnout. He'll be a total fucking burnout. He'll be living on the streets in Thailand. That's what I think. Yeah, welcome home to, back to Rome. The Kirk assassination reminds you of your own mortality, real. And thanks, I was living a double life pretending like I was practicing, now you're actually doing it, very good. Matrix 5 starring Nick as Neo. Based. We are living in a great age in a way. We are blessed to live in a time where our countries face existential crisis. And in our lifetimes, we will witness men rise up to greatness. Perhaps it'll even be one of us here right now. History's not over. True. Look, you should be thankful for hardship. There's a reason, God permitted evil to exist in such a way that better greatness can come forth. I'm butchering it. This is from Saint, which saint said this? Oh, I'm butchering it. But the idea is that from hardship, from suffering, greatness, true virtue can emerge. That I think would not otherwise be possible without it. That's why when you think about people who really go through it and struggle, oftentimes are the most virtuous. They have the best character. They say it all builds character. And Nick has been through a lot. And I think that really molded him into the man that he is today. So hardship, people they pray for good times, they pray for bountiful harvests, they pray maybe to be the best version of themselves possible, and it's clear this is the path to get that, is through struggle, is through hardship. You have to toil. So, the idea of what is essentially a word prediction algorithm to ever gain real agency is unrealistic to me. Yeah, I mean, I have suspicions about what the real plateau is for artificial intelligence. But whatever the case may be, it is certainly presenting some real problems for humanity. I'll leave it at that for now. Countries will still need America for banking. For now. We're not the only country with money. We're not the only country that can produce money, people have been speculating that eventually the world's reserve currency, which is what they use for exchange rates, will one day shift from the US dollar to the Chinese yuan. And when that happens, it's kind of over for us. At least our financial sector. Like Nick said, be hard to kill. Yeah, he had at least 180,000 viewers, probably closer to 250,000, because he also had other people restreaming it. That's more than the entire Cuban army. That's an interesting statistic. Thanks for the response, bro. Oh, appreciate it. Not a monster, just a monkey. Our monkey. Good night, Louise. Good night, Louise. Take it easy, dog. Stay on that grind. Melo, by the way, I've never heard of you before. Are you new to streaming, or do you have a established channel somewhere else? I'm pretty new to streaming, yeah. Overall. Well, I guess not new, but I've just, really been, I guess, taken off a little bit. Yeah, I'm not established at all, though. This is what you're seeing here is it, So, we're trying to build this. So. You know of Depressed Ginger? No. Sounds familiar, but I don't know who that is. He's been around for a bit. His manager, Kumquat, has been giving him motivation to improve his channel. Yeah. Hail Kumquat, hail victory, right? Was last night his highest views Nick has ever had? I think so, actually. He might have broken records. I think so. Yeah, it was bigger than his Iran war coverage. I think, yeah, last night was the biggest show he's ever done. I'm pretty sure. Lies Mellow is lazy. I resent that. True greatness emerges from hardship, and I'm always hard. Thanks, Kumquat. Thanks for your not your intellect, your wisdom. Thank you for your wisdom, generally speaking. I mean, I don't dislike him. He's a bit of a normie for me. Is this Depressed Ginger? Is that what we're talking? I don't know. I don't know who it is. I think he's aware, but doesn't show it much on YouTube. Mello finding out why Nick never reads his chat. So real. Realist. That's the realest chat of the night. The realest chat of the night. Just so fucking true. So true. So true. Said he's not surprised the shooter is white. Was that what that guy said? The Depressed Ginger, whatever. Great. It's hard to say how many views Nick has since so many people are restreaming him. How many people are restreaming him though? If like most people in AF don't restream Nick, like Beardson, Tyler Russell, Wurzel, look, even like Beaky Bimbo. Everyone goes offline when Nick goes live, you know? I think it's different when like you're on Kick, like if you're looking at like Aiden Ross, for example, or Cheezer. Dude, I always just get...
I was like, oh, fuck.
No, I don't want to fucking... I want to mute that. I always get signed out of Kick. It's really annoying. It's a little bit different because Aiden Ross and Cheezer have their own audiences, enormous audiences. So it's like... But otherwise, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Is it bad form? It feels like otherwise you're just leeching content, you know? If you're like restreaming and building your shit off of Nick's content, you know what I'm saying? It's like, just go watch Nick, you know? Just direct people to Nick's show and not like piggyback off of his live audience. It's very good that, yeah, I do think it's very good at Aiden Ross who streams it. He has a big audience, huge audience. You should rename the show Revenge of the Rejected Super Chatter. Very interesting. I don't mean he's actually knowing me. I shouldn't have said that. I don't honestly watch as much of his content as others. Yeah, the second is comment of the night. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But yeah, I don't think, yeah, Nick's not going live. Anything new on, whoa, 40 new posts on, okay, it's about, this is what we already reacted to. So it's just live tweeting the, whole thing. Ansarallah fired a single ballistic missile towards central Israel some moments ago. Nothing burger. Kash Patel was dining in a high-end New York City restaurant on the night of Charlie Kirk's murder when he hastily tweeted that the subject in Kirk's killing was in custody, only to retract his statement an hour later. Well, I'm glad he was enjoying himself. The Florida 1st District Court of Appeals has ruled in the case of McDaniels versus State, determining that the state's ban on the open carry of firearms violates the Second Amendment. The state of Florida is expected to introduce full open carry in the coming weeks as a result of the ruling. Well, W if you live in Florida. Pretty cool. What do I think about the chemtrail stuff? My normal fiance even asked the other day, what are those lines in the sky? I didn't know. I didn't want to sound schizo. Those are water. That's water vapor. As planes have flown higher and higher because engineering's gotten better, it produces more water vapor. But you can go back to like early pictures of in like World War II and see planes with water vapor and stuff. You know, they might be experimenting some with heavy metals spraying and stuff. You know, weather, cloud seeding and whatnot, weather weapon technology and stuff, but I don't think there's like a major effort to dump chemtrails on everybody. So, not Goipers, but independent YouTubers. I even found a black creator that loves Nick's content, Blanchard, I think, another Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh, Jesse Lee Peterson's amazing. He's spoken at AFPAC. Yeah. It's not incorporating, like, he has his own thing, yeah. He has his own huge streaming audience for 2024 election night. It was crazy. Chemtrails are just scratches in the firmament. Anything new? Anything new on Twitter? Yeah, I have to agree with Kagui. I think Erika definitely saw a lot of the posts people were posting about Charlie Kirk. I mean, just sick shit, man. For real. Really reminds you. As like a brief aside, one of the things that really led me to Christ, the first thing I clocked about the world was that there's true evil. There is true evil in the world. And so conversely, there has to be true good, just by definition. And it's like, dude, it's like not a day goes by just looking at this stuff. Yeah, there's true evil out in the world, man. So never forget what true good looks like and where it comes from. Do not be a veiled testament to Christianity. Be the best version of yourself. Earn it. Love God. Put God before yourself and everything. And you will love everything more than you otherwise possibly could have. Kumquat gave totally different answer on chemtrails. What did Kumquat say about chemtrails? Just some experimental heavy metals, no biggie. Yeah, I mean, like, you can look up some of the, it's cloud seeding. And you know, there have been, some people have said, like Monsanto is experimenting in certain crops that can grow in more aluminum-heavy soil. Maybe that's in response to the cloud seeding, but, yeah, I don't think there's, like a doomsday kind of, like, ubiquitous chemtrail project going on here. Yes, Prime was crazy. I used to always get recommended his predictions. Gave no answer on chemtrails. That guy is hearing voices in his head and thinks it's me. Someone help that man. Yeah, Hippocratic. I think now you're beginning to. You're shadow boxing. Now you know how I feel. Now Kumquat's infected your brain too. My local chemtrails consist of kumquat tears. Yeah. People want us dead, never forget. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I don't think... If they kill, like... I don't think they want, like, mass die-offs like that. I think there's, like, some... Like, maybe some element to that, you know, sacrificing at the altar and whatnot. 6 million. Sacrifices to Moloch. But I don't think that's the primary impetus. I think, why would they kill off their cattle? You know? It's sort of the same logic about, like, they want civil war in America. I don't think that's what they want. I think that's a consequence of their actions. But why would they create turmoil that could challenge their regime? I don't think that's really what they want. Some maybe as like a sacrificial thing, but I don't think that's the thrust of it. Jump shot equal 2 points, layup equal 2 points, slam dunk 2 points, black loses shit for a dunk, but there is no difference in points, form over function. Well, come on, it's spectacle though. Who doesn't like a slam dunk? Come on now. Technically that's the same amount of points, dude. Shut up, man. Shut up. It's cool, okay? It's stylish. You can like shit. 271,301. Yeah, but the deal with, was it Moloch? Or was it Ball? 6 million. That was the deal. Trying to trick the devil too. Share clips? Sure. The business next to my apartment has outdoor karaoke tonight. I feel like such a boomer, but it's so annoying. Damn. You should totally go over there and sing Erika. That would be like based. CEO of Epic Games says that mocking Charlie Kirk's death is unproblematic because it's protected by the Constitution. My tweet isn't some veiled partisan political commentary. Clemson's statement is simply wrong about the Constitution, and a public university should know better. The Constitution and the right to vigorously criticize is supposed to be constant through these times. What's the what's the comment above this, though? I think that's totally missing the point. I don't think, like, being principled about the Constitution is, I think we're past that point. Let's just be real here for a second. I think we're totally past this fucking point. It's like now all of a sudden they want to hide behind the Constitution. After conservatives have been getting canceled for years for what exactly? For saying they like Trump. Yeah, I think we're long past that. Sorry, libtard. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. So true. So true. Sorry, libtard, but your freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Should have known that. Some leftoid created a bing bong.
As, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk's self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we
Was I shocked what happened to Charlie Kirk? Yes, very.
Yeah, and so it's very simple. So how do
very,
you love
very
somebody?
disturbed by all of
them
this.
so much to correct their error. Yeah. And so let's just, take the pride
Our
conversation.
black
out
AI
because people
girlfriend's
think
always
it's an
bitching about
identification,
white
it's not.
supremacy and white women's hair.
If
I'm
you
sure there's a
meet an
setting for that.
alcoholic,
Furball
or
is
you meet a
pointing out the
drug addict,
contradiction.
Do you affirm
Yeah, he is.
their struggle? No. You
see
say
a
you're
link?
better than this.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, I
get
got
you
it.
free from that. Let's get you free from that activity. Now, we don't know what part.
Yeah, I mean, like, just looking at the summary here, we're just posting highlight. This is the highlight reel for Charlie Kirk. What it looks like. It's a bunch of white people singing Coldplay and Country Roads. Words have consequence. Yeah. Or as Elon says, freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Yeah. Now, are we just playing Kirk's greatest hits? He said this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Real. Fucking Myron, dude. Fucking Myron, bro. Andrew Wilson is debating a Satanist on stream and makes a passing comment, and the guy freaks out and calls him anti-Semitic because Andrew said oy vey. Yeah, I love how Satanists are so edgy unless you you criticize Judaism.
You don't think that anyone on the right
Hang on, I can't hear this.
ever said that they think Charlie Kirk is full of hate?
Did I say that or did I say I've never actually heard anybody say that?
Because that's about someone on the right.
But did I ever say once? Did I ever? Did I ever say once?
Andrew. Hold on. Stop. Andrew,
Yeah.
what was that? You just made an anti-Semitic comment.
How?
Dude, does he actually sound like that?
You just said oy vey at me after I said something.
So? That's not anti-Semitic.
You made a specific type of voice and then said, "Oy vey."
I was
that is
mocking your
anti-Semitic.
voice because
I would
that's how
like
your
to
voice
know
sounds.
Specifically, why you would make anti-Semitic.
That's not
comments at me.
anti-Semitic. You're just making
Andrew
shit up.
Wilson, dear Andrew Wilson, why
Yeah.
would you say anti-Semitic comments to someone who
That's
is
not.
Ashkenazi
That's not anti.
Jewish?
Well,
I'm Ashkenazi
wait. So then,
Jewish,
how
and I'm
is
very
it?
open about
So
it.
how is it
So you're
anti-Semitic for
over
me to
here.
use your language?
Because. Are you kidding me?
No,
If
I'm not kidding you.
Making comments saying "oy vey" and doing a voice, that would be like you're speaking with someone who, like a black person.
Well,
and then
well,
starting
well.
To do like ebonics in the middle of it and making fun of them.
Wait a
That's the
second.
exact
Wait a
same
second.
fucking thing.
Oy vey is a very common thing that Jewish people say when they're flustered
Well,
or
well,
So
well.
when
things
you
like
say
this.
to me when I'm flustered, and then you make a voice like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
not
anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitism.
Yes.
No,
that
it's
is
not. That's just me
anti-Semitism.
pointing out your silly
Absolutely.
shit.
That is anti-Semitism.
Bro.
Andrew.
Okay, everything's
Hey, everyone,
anti-Semitism.
it's Seth Shadows here. Check me out on YouTube and Twitch and TikTok right here where we are, where I have just gotten Andrew Wilson, little fucking olive jar boy, misogynistic piece of shit, and also we have come to find out live that he's also anti-Semitic.
Oh, because
Great,
I said the
cool,
words oy
amazing.
vey.
Amazing.
Because I said the
Andrew.
word oy
That's
vey.
great to learn from you.
That's anti-Semitism.
Dude, it's at the point where, like, as if it weren't like obvious already, we don't fucking care what this guy has to say whatsoever. We don't care. His words, his insults mean nothing to us, man. Are we first of all, are we surprised the guy's Jewish? Are we surprised this guy's Ashkenazi Jewish? Am I surprised? Not even in the slightest. But yeah, this guy's gonna cry about anti-Semitism, and he's got some kind of satanic sigil he's wearing on his hat. Yeah, opinion discarded, you fucking freak. Opinion discarded. Don't care. If you like, seriously, if you worship Satan, ironically, unironically, I don't care. Don't care what you have to say. That's the closet. The closest Andrew has gotten to the JQ in 5 years. Yeah, you know, it's yeah. He likes Nick though. He likes Nick. Maybe he's just a pipeline. Oystein Vejowitz. Check Liebercat. Black guy threatening to kill wife and baby. Dude, enough, dude. Nick sucks, man. Okay. Check Liebercat though. A black guy threatening to kill a wife and baby. Isn't that just like kind of like an everyday kind of occurrence? Like, don't we kind of have another case of black violence? Is this somehow a big developing story or something? You know how when dictators or monarchs are deposed and they're still giving orders because they can't comprehend they are not in charge now? Jewish people can't comprehend their victimhood privileges are over. Well, I think it's definitely deeper than that. It's like kind of an ongoing thing throughout history, sort of lacking in humility and self-awareness. It's just the eternal victim, always the victim. We'll talk about 109 this, but never why, right? Yeah. Arms down, Christ up. George Wallace. This guy really... Wait. This guy really have 3 TVs? Is this a frat house? This guy has 3 TVs, bro, and 2 are for football. And one of them is on a chair. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on here? One of my parish priests is genetically Jewish. He's a brain. Yeah, you know, when Jews are good, they're really good. Honestly, it's the collective. You know, you could say it's the Jewish collective that's really the problem. Ron Unz is Jewish, and he's brilliant. Goated setup. You know, like once you get past like getting red pilled, you come out the other side, and I don't know. It's like it's just you just use discernment.
Come on! I was just kidding! Come on! Come on! You guys know I was just kidding, right?
Yeah, dude. What? Just, this kind of shit is so fucking. This lukewarm bullshit is exhausting. You don't have to Fed post to acknowledge that there isn't a single revolution in history that has done without the use of force. America wouldn't exist if our founding fathers disavowed violence. Does this guy look like he's doing shit? Does this guy look like he's doing shit? Let's just be real for a second. Let's just be real for a second. This guy is always advocating somebody else do something about this. Silly. Silly. Alright, what time is it? 10:15? Who is he? I don't even know who this guy is. A philosopher? But it's just like this kind of LARP shit. This is not what we're about. We disavow violence. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's at this point, it's a big IQ gate. If you can't figure it out, man, I don't know what else to say. Clone Hope Kalergi? What is Kalergi plan? Well, I mean, I think we're watching it happening in real time. I think we're watching the Kalergi plan play out in real time. I mean, look at all the misinformation going on, the promotion of it. But, you know, I think much of the thrust of the so that's like misinformation, but as far as like immigration goes, that's, I think the bigger thrust of that is economic reasons, because we're below replacement birth rate, and so they need workers, otherwise we enter recession. So yeah, disavow violence. Yeah. All right, everyone. I'm gonna hop off here. I gotta get ready to travel tomorrow. That kid wants to get Nick killed. Yeah, I mean, people are just, they're either stupid or they're bad actors, man. I don't really have patience for that shit. I don't think anyone should either. Just ostracize those people that are just being, at the very least, being fucking stupid and loose with their language. Because, yeah, I understand people are emotional, but you can't be dumb. Ending for our sins, yeah. So I'm gonna be gone for a week. Sorry, I know, it sucks. What a terrible time to leave. But I'll be back on, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. I'm gonna be totally out of town. Don't forget about me! Don't forget about me! Yeah, I'm lazy, huh? This is Kumquat's fault. I know, 3 hours, I gotta get ready to go. I have to finish packing. I gotta wake up early. Yeah, is this Kumquat's doing? Is this Kumquat's doing? It's calling me lazy. I'm taking the trip to, yeah, I'm gonna touch the wall, yeah. I gotta put on my little yarmulke. Alright, everyone. What else? Like, let me do my shilling. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notifications, stay up to date, follow all my socials. Helps the algo. Tell me your favorite ice cream flavor in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be gone for a week. I know. I was actually debating whether I should, but I have to do it. I have to go. It's a yearly thing, but yeah. I love you guys. God bless. Take it easy. Has Kumquat authorized? Yeah, good one. Yeah. Yeah, the real reason why I'm taking vacation is just I need a break from Kumquat, you know? But somehow I feel like I'm not going to be able to get away from him. Yeah, I'll see you guys at the Wailing Wall. I mean, I'll catch you guys later. All right, bye.